9 lifetimes, 9 reincarnations. In each life, I took in an abandoned baby girl as my disciple. I even gave up all my power to help each one become an emperor. But once grown, my eldest disciple ran 10,000 blades through me. Every disciple killed me in the cruelest way possible. All because I awakened the villain maker system. Once I turned all 9 heroines into great villains, I could finally return to Earth. I'd also gain 9 lifetimes of power and transcend the great Tao. But then my final disciple entered the deepest cell. My power was gone, and I hadn't eaten in 2.5 years. Every day, Evelyn kept me barely alive with spiritual energy. She carried a bowl of fragrant food. She looked down at the kneeling man with grim satisfaction. Ethan Hayes, do you regret it? Just say you regret it. I'll feed you, then end your suffering. Her voice was cold, yet almost pleading. But to her disappointment, he kept his eyes shut and said nothing. Evelyn stared at the man who had once cherished her. Countless memories came flooding back. I taught her to read and raised her like my own. A flicker of pity crossed her eyes, but she still placed heart-devouring worms in my chest. She gripped my chin and forced my face toward hers. Still, I kept my eyes shut. When you slaughtered my entire family, did you ever think this day would come? Ethan, tell me. Tell me you regret it. Say it and I'll stop torturing you. For revenge, she stayed by his side for 50 years. When she finally became the strongest in that world, she struck with 50 years of bottled-up rage. Hearing Evelyn's voice, I sighed inside. I understood her pain and hatred. My heart ached for her. For 50 years, I'd known Evelyn hated me. She acted like an obedient disciple, but deep down she wanted me dead. My love for her had always been real, but the villain maker system lived inside my mind. Once I finished the mission and died, I could return home. Now I only had 3 days left. Once time ran out, I'd die and return to Earth. The heart-devouring worms had already burrowed into my heart. Agony tore through my body. Evelyn watched my face twist in pain. She looked satisfied, almost relieved. An hour passed in the blink of an eye. She watched me collapse like a dying dog. A hint of conflict flashed in her eyes, then turned cold. She sent energy into me to protect my meridians. She wanted me trapped between life and death. Leaving the cell, Evelyn entered the Umbral Order Grand Hall. Inside a hidden room, memorial tablets covered the altar. Evelyn slowly knelt, her voice choking up. Mom, Dad, once I uncover the truth, I'll give you the justice you deserve. Ever since she imprisoned and tortured me, her hatred eased, but one doubt emerged. She had the only abyssal spirit body in ages. Anyone who raised her to adulthood and dual cultivated with her could become an emperor. Yet Ethan had never once made a move on her in 50 years. Her mind returned to that nightmarish afternoon. Evelyn was only 6 then. She was the beloved princess of the Frost family. But a joyful day had taken a horrifying turn. A bloody mist filled the Frost estate. The place looked like hell. A little girl shook her parents' bodies over and over. 6-year-old Evelyn couldn't understand. Why were her parents lying there, ignoring her? She cried and kept shaking them. She didn't know how long it had been. Her hands went numb, and her eyes turned red from crying. Then a shadow fell over her tiny body. Evelyn raised her tear-stained face. A young man in white stood before her. His sharp, dark eyes were filled with heartache. She stopped crying and stared blankly at him. Don't cry, sweetheart. Come with me. Those were the first words he ever said to her. He didn't care that she was covered in mud and blood. He took her into his arms. For the first time, Evelyn felt truly safe in someone's arms. But as she grew, she was no longer the naive girl. From that little village, Frost Manor courtyard was full of bodies. Yet that man was unharmed. Evelyn concluded that Ethan had killed her family. Over 50 years, she defeated every gifted rival. She became the continent's only emperor. At last, she could strike at the man who taught, cherished, and loved her with 50 years of hatred. But recently, she learned she had an abyssal spirit body. Anyone who dual cultivated with her after she matured could instantly become an emperor. Could he really be innocent? 2 days later, she finally received a lead. The massacre 50 years ago was tied to the Crimson Covenant. The next moment, she appeared above the Crimson Covenant. With one casual slash, she shattered its ancient barrier. Who dares attack us? Your Majesty, what brings you to the Crimson Covenant? What really happened in that massacre? Back then, Gideon Graves was only an outer elder. He personally led the attack on that town. Just as he thought the girl with the abyssal spirit body was his, a terrifyingly powerful man in white appeared. His aura alone froze everyone in place. Every man Gideon brought died by the stranger's blade. Gideon alone escaped in the chaos. Later, the young man's fame spread across the continent. He became known as Ebenreach's greatest sword saint. The little girl beside him was equally gifted. In just decades, she reached the Emperor realm. Only then did Gideon realize she was the girl from that day. Then something happened in Ebenreach that stunned the entire world. Evelyn killed her master before every major order. With her own blade, she severed Ethan's life force. To stay alive, Gideon buried the truth. He never told anyone. "Your Majesty, I know nothing." He fought his fear and tried to stay calm. But Evelyn saw right through him. Seeing Gideon hide the truth confirmed her suspicions. Her body began to tremble. Killing intent swirled like a storm in her eyes. A blood-red light flashed in Evelyn's eyes, pierced deep into Gideon's soul. She searched his soul. A tribulation cultivator couldn't resist an emperor. Soon, within Gideon's soul, she found the memories she wanted. She saw Gideon leading a group of men in a bloody slaughter of civilians. Then she saw the man who had spent 50 years beside her. Ethan descended like a god. He killed the attackers. Then he entered Frost Manor courtyard from her childhood memories. Evelyn saw Ethan lift her younger self with aching tenderness. "Don't cry, sweetheart. Come with me." She could almost hear Ethan gently say those words again. She had been lied to for 50 whole years. For 50 years, the man she hated had actually saved her life. The crushing shock of the truth tore through her soul. Evelyn covered her face, laughing and crying like she'd lost her mind. Then her killing intent erupted into the sky. 50 years. You lied to me for 50 years. From this moment on, the Crimson Covenant will cease to exist. Unless one of you has hidden Emperor-level power, you may all die. The heavens and earth changed color. Terrifying black clouds engulfed the Crimson Covenant. The forced soul search left Gideon mindless. A moment later, he exploded into bloody mist. The Crimson Covenant was wiped out. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, I stared at the 10 minutes left, torn inside. A figure suddenly appeared in the silent cell. Evelyn saw what she'd reduced me to and was overcome with regret. She quickly released my chains. Years of weakness made me collapse. Evelyn caught me and held me tight. Though now an emperor, she had no idea what to say. She could only cling to my broken body. I stayed silent. Then I felt tears fall onto my face. "So you know now, my disciple." "Master, you knew all along, didn't you? Why didn't you tell me?" "I made a mistake, Master. I was wrong. I have to go. Take good care of yourself." "Master." Evelyn's heart suddenly clenched. She felt something precious slipping away. His life force was rapidly fading. "Master, no." Frantic, she pulled out a healing pill. She tried to feed it to me. I only shook my head and looked at her tenderly. I could feel the heavenly law rejecting me. But Evelyn thought I still blamed her. Her heart ached terribly. She put the pill in her mouth and chewed it. Then she cupped my face with sudden resolve and pressed her lips to mine. "Evelyn, what?" My eyes widened. I never expected her to do something so bold. She only held him tighter, lost in the moment. She surrendered to the forbidden intimacy between master and disciple. But Evelyn soon felt his body becoming unreal. She opened her eyes and saw my body turning transparent. "No." "Evelyn, be good. Don't leave me." Evelyn lunged forward, trying to catch the fading figure. But she grasped only air and collapsed to the floor. Her hair fell loose as her body shook uncontrollably. "I killed Master. This is all my fault." She clutched her chest. It hurt so badly. After some time, the sobbing in the cell finally stopped. She rose like an empty shell. Her soul was gone. 3 days later, news spread across Ebenreach. Over 100,000 members of the Crimson Covenant were dead. Every day afterward, Evelyn returned to the cell she had built especially for Ethan. But inside that cell, the man she longed for was gone forever. "Master, wherever you are, I'll find you." Meanwhile, I returned to the day I first crossed worlds. Ding! Host has completed all 9 reincarnation missions. Reward: the power and insight of all 9 lifetimes. But when I checked my status, I saw only 3 question marks. As I remembered, Earth had its own cultivation system, but it was extremely low level. Even a nascent soul cultivator was considered a major powerhouse. With 9 lifetimes of power, couldn't I do anything I wanted? I could probably even destroy Earth. But all I wanted was a quiet life. Meanwhile, at the Stormblade Order in Ebonreach, Evelyn, you've gone too far. Being an emperor doesn't make you untouchable. Marcus Warden warily watched the stunning woman nearby. If I remember correctly, back in Graveshade Valley, you ambushed my master. Evelyn's eyes blazed with murderous fury. What is this now, Evelyn? Yes, I ambushed your master. But didn't you kill him yourself? Why put on this fake show now? Marcus's words struck Evelyn hard. Agony surged through her heart. It was true. She had killed her master before the entire world. The master who had loved and cherished her for 50 years had died by her own hand. With master gone, what reason did she have to live? She would find him and atone. But before that, she would settle the score with everyone who had hurt Ethan. Everyone who hurt master must die. Evelyn lowered her gaze and quietly added, including me. A blood-red sword appeared in her hand. It was Cold Grace, the sword Ethan had given her. Now she'd use it to kill everyone who had ever hurt him. Evelyn slowly raised the blade, then brought it down. The strike shook heaven and earth. Runes of the great Tao wrapped around the blade. A brilliant sword beam tore through the sky like a falling star. Terrifying crimson sword energy surged from every direction. It gathered like a vast army, crushing everything in its path. You're insane. Aren't you afraid every order will unite against you? With no time to think, Marcus rushed to block it. But against Evelyn's galaxy-shattering strike, his defense was hopelessly weak. It shattered instantly as endless blades rushed toward him. No. Marcus's eyes widened as the sword energy filled his vision. The next moment, his body was erased. A bottomless sword-cut chasm opened before the Stormblade Order. Icy sword storms raged within it. No Stormblade disciple may leave. Cross this line and you die. After killing Marcus, Evelyn left that warning and shot into the sky. The Stormblade Order erupted in panic. Their ascendant leader had died without blocking a single strike. And Evelyn's warning placed the entire order under lockdown. One defiant disciple stepped just beyond the gate. A sword beam instantly shot from the chasm. It ripped him apart, spraying blood through the air. Every Stormblade disciple backed away in terror. Later, Evelyn sat in the cell, clutching Cold Grace. She always returned, as if her master's scent still lingered there. Over the past few days, Evelyn hunted down everyone who had hurt her master, righteous or demonic. Not one survived. Every major order in Ebonreach lived in fear. They feared the madwoman might come for them next. Behind her back, they called Evelyn a lunatic. You killed your master before the whole world. Now you're killing people in the name of avenging him. But Evelyn was an emperor. Many ascendant cultivators had fallen in a single move, leaving the orders helpless. Master, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Tears filled Evelyn's eyes. These past few days, she'd lived in endless agony. Besides her parents, the most important person in her life was gone too. Her heart felt carved apart by fate. The master she'd hated for 50 years had actually saved her. She had killed the master she loved most. Master, I'm coming to join you. Her beautiful face twisted between tears and a bitter smile. Then a cool female voice echoed through the deep vault. An emperor sobbing like this. What a disgrace to your master. Evelyn snapped her head up, ready to kill. A hazy figure cloaked in starlight stepped from the void. Evelyn glared at Selena with open hostility. Who are you? The woman's immense power was no weaker than her own. Who I am doesn't matter. I can help you find your master. Master's alive? Is that true? Evelyn stared at Selena with crazed intensity. Of course. When the time comes, we'll go together. With that, Selena stepped back into a rainbow vortex. Evelyn remained alone, lost in thought. Selena reappeared in another galaxy. Starlight surrounded her. If it weren't for finding my lord, I'd never work with the wretch who hurt him. Once I find him, you'll pay. My lord, I miss you so much. Where are you? Selena's face filled with obsession as her body writhed with longing. Meanwhile, I rested with my eyes closed in class. Before long, my desk mate Tyler kept nudging me. Ethan, look, that idiot Logan's back again. A buzzcut guy stood at the door with flowers. The girl he was after was Madison Sterling, my old crush. I'd written her 200 love letters. Madison, this is day 530 of bringing you flowers. I also got you a box of spirit-taming pills. They'll boost your score on today's spirit affinity test. Logan really went all out. Those cost 10 grand each if I remember right. Don't call me Madison. We barely know each other. Just take them, Madison, and I'll leave. Logan clearly wasn't leaving until she did. Madison casually tossed everything back to me. Logan immediately shot me a warning look. I ignored him and passed it to Tyler. Here, they're yours. Dude, seriously? Tyler had just been enjoying the show, until he became part of it. Everyone's stares left him rattled. Logan turned his menacing gaze on Tyler. The message was clear. Tyler awkwardly scratched his head and tried to return the gifts. but I stopped his hand. Don't let his heartfelt gift go to waste. What's everyone doing here? Rachel stood at the door, clearly annoyed. Logan, get back to your own class. Then she began the semester's spirit affinity test. Rachel's expression soured. 80. Fail. Next. 110. Pass. 95. Fail. 107. Fail. As each student tested, Rachel looked more upset. The next student stood up, drawing everyone's attention. Madison seemed to glow like a goddess. Sure enough, the class erupted moments later. Whoa, 150? That's insane. That's my goddess Madison. Soon it was Tyler's turn, then mine. Tyler came back looking crushed. His spirit affinity was only 75. The class burst into laughter. Even a dog could score higher than 75. The nonstop mockery made Tyler's face burn red. He watched me go and reassured himself. It's fine. Ethan will fail with me. I faced the testing plate and carefully limited my energy. When the display showed 110, the class erupted again. No freaking way. The worst student in class actually passed. Ethan passed? He had to be cheating. I calmly returned to my seat. After class, Rachel called me into her office. Having any trouble getting by lately? I'd been orphaned 2 years earlier, but I shook my head. I'm doing fine. Your spirit affinity is looking good now. Keep working hard in everything else too. She pulled out a stack of cash wrapped in a cover from 5 years of finals, 3 years of practice, and pressed it into my hand. I stared at the money in shock. Ms. Walker, I don't need this. But Rachel firmly refused to take it back. Go buy some monster meat and build up your strength. I don't want to hear another word. It's from my savings. Pay me back someday. Rachel called it a loan, so I'd accept it. Ethan was the only student in her class struggling financially. As his teacher, she wanted to help however she could. It was only 10 grand, but that was 2 months of her pay. After that, I had no choice but to accept. I was powerful enough to do whatever I wanted, but refusing her kindness would only hurt her. Outside the school, I found Tyler waiting. He wiggled his eyebrows at me. Let's go camp a bridge and score a chicken dinner. We headed straight to an internet cafe. An hour later, I stared at my gray death screen. Ethan, I'm gonna head home. I nodded and walked the other way. Before long, I spotted a car by the road. It was the Rolls-Royce that drove Madison to school every day. Through the window, I saw Madison tied up inside. Madison saw me too. She desperately banged her head against the window to get my attention. But I kept walking without a glance. Then someone struck the back of her neck. She instantly passed out. After the car left, I thought it over. I'd return to Earth just to live a normal life. But letting Madison get kidnapped right in front of me didn't sit right. The Rolls-Royce stopped outside a factory. Inside, Madison's head was still spinning. She forced herself to calm down and think. Who would dare kidnap her? The Parkers or the Holloways? She looked up helplessly and saw a head peek over the broken roof. Wasn't he just on the street? How'd he get up there? Madison's mind went blank. She had so many questions. Then a man appeared, interrupting her thoughts. Derek Holloway sneered at Madison. How did mighty Ms. Sterling fall so low? Once I get that treasure from the Sterlings, I'll put a baby in you and send you home. Then we'll be family. You have 3 counts to kill yourself. A voice rang out. Derek instinctively looked up. Who's there? Show yourself. But when he saw a teenage boy, he laughed. Who let this brat in? He immediately ordered his men to fire. Boring. 2. 1. They're dead. They're all dead. Sir. Please spare me. Whatever the Sterlings paid you, the Holloways will pay 10 times more. No, 100 times more. Too late. I looked at the normally aloof Madison, now trembling. Like a frightened bunny. I have a few conditions. Agree and I'll save you. Madison quickly nodded, looking pitiful. First, I was never here tonight. Second, tell no one about me. Third, stay far away from me. And don't let your family's cultivators test me, or I might strip you naked and dump you in the street. Madison flushed with shame and anger. I untied her and started to leave. Then Madison's soft voice came from behind. I'm scared. I can't walk. She'd been tied up so long that her limbs were numb, and bodies surrounded her. She was terrified to stay there alone. Fine. Might as well finish the job. I hoisted Madison up and carried her outside. Then I ignored her wounded look and left. Back home, I started thinking. When I fought earlier, I discovered my power was capped at peak nascent soul. Was it because Earth's heavenly law was incomplete? Was that why I could only use nascent soul level power here? Just when I thought things would settle down, Madison said to me before the whole class the next day, "Come outside with me." Every eye in class turned toward us. Who's Madison calling? Sounds like Ethan. No way. I think she means me. Come here. I'll snap you out of that fantasy. Why give him any hope? I acted like I hadn't noticed her. Tyler, why are you staring? She's calling you. Tyler blinked in confusion. My act only made Madison angrier. She gritted her teeth. I'm pregnant. I nearly choked. You're what? Tyler, how could you? Bullcrap. Tyler jumped up and cut me off. Is your baby Ethan Hayes? Madison flashed her little fangs and pointed at me with a grin. I stiffly turned toward her smug face. Regret overwhelmed me. Why did I have to save this menace last night? Madison held her head high and walked out first. I had no choice but to follow. Who knew what else she'd claim if I didn't? What? Madison's pregnant? And Ethan's the father? Ethan is Madison's baby? After we left, the class exploded with gossip. Madison, are you insane? How can you smear my good name like that? I looked completely defeated. What did you mean, stay away? Afraid I'll chase after you? Madison bared her little fangs. She'd stayed up late last night. She couldn't stop picturing Ethan descending like a god, or how safe she'd felt in his arms. She'd wanted to thank him, until she remembered his third condition. How was I supposed to know she thought like this? Chasing me or not, you and I have nothing to do with each other. That night was a one-time thing, okay? Losing patience, I turned to leave. Madison's face fell. Do you hate me that much? I wanted to say yes, but she stared at me with tears in her eyes. I couldn't stay heartless. Fine, I don't hate you. Happy? Now go clear this up. Getting the answer she wanted, Madison smiled. We headed back into the classroom. At the door, I felt a hostile glare. Logan had come with flowers as usual, but now he looked furious. Everyone was staring at him with amused pity. After asking around, he learned what happened. Unable to contain his anger, he demanded, Madison, what's going on between you two? What we are is none of your business. We barely know each other. Move, please. Madison was back to her icy, aloof self. I don't believe you. Madison, you do have feelings for me, right? Logan lunged forward to grab her. Madison instinctively ducked behind me. With a sigh, I blocked Logan. Furious, he yanked hard to free his arm, but stumbled and nearly fell. Someone in class snickered. Logan fled like a beaten dog. Meanwhile, amid the endless tides of the galaxy, two stunning figures traveled one behind the other, through a wormhole in the void. Are you sure this will lead us to my master? Evelyn's eyes were cold. Every day they had to guard against the spatial storms raging around them. If she weren't an emperor, the surrounding debris would have destroyed her long ago. Relax. If we search every world, we'll find him eventually. Trust me, sweetheart. Selena's sultry voice came from within the rainbow glow. Who are you, and why won't you show your face? Evelyn's gaze hardened as a storm of sword intent gathered. Selena fell silent for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was no longer sultry, but cold and sinister. What I am to my lord is none of your business, you heartless master killer. If you want to fight, I'll gladly oblige. I'll avenge my lord by killing you, you wretch. The rainbow light around Selena flared. Countless stars orbited her, each holding limitless power. For once, Evelyn said nothing. Selena hadn't revealed her exact relationship with Ethan, but calling him my lord said enough. Killing her master was Evelyn's deepest wound. She didn't argue. Tension crackled between them. Cracks spread across that world's heavenly law, ready to collapse under their crushing power. A speck of light suddenly appeared nearby, racing toward them. Both women sensed someone approaching. But the aura was weak only at the spirit transformation realm. Moments later, Everett Ashford appeared nearby. Facing those two terrifying figures, Everett felt like an ant, paralyzed by fear. Your Majesties, are you here searching for a man? Golden light flashed through Selena's starry eyes. Her radiant glow instantly engulfed Everett. Tell me everything you know. Within the light surrounding him, Everett felt enough power to erase him in an instant. Body, soul, and every lifetime. He forced out the words. 3 years ago, 2 other women came here separately, both searching for a man. That's why I dared ask, Your Majesties. Selena's sultry voice emerged from the rainbow glow. Evelyn, sweetheart, we'd better hurry. Or some other tramp may find my lord first. Then it'll be too late for regrets. Selena streaked out of the world, trailing rainbow light. Evelyn withdrew her sword intent and followed. She was stunned. There were other women. What other identities did Master have? It didn't matter. Master could only belong to her. Anyone in her way would die. She could always chain him up again. Countless thoughts raced through Evelyn's mind. After they left, Everett finally exhaled. What kind of man could make 4 emperors search for him? How many emperors even existed across the countless worlds? Yet 4 had appeared in only 3 years, all looking for one man. It became the greatest mystery of Everett's life. Meanwhile, time passed quickly on Earth. Then everyone received an alert. Havenport emergency alert. Shelter indoors for 7 days. A monster may be loose in the city. I read the alert and sighed. I just want a normal life. Why is there always trouble? Meanwhile, an eerie black mist appeared above Earth. Black lightning rippled within it. Yes, this is the place. I can smell my master. So sweet. I want him all to myself right now. I watched the pouring rain, gripped by a bad feeling. I sensed a deadly threat and a familiar presence. That night, Hannah Quinn faced a towering, grotesque monster. Terrified, she turned pale and fell. She hadn't checked the group chat, so she didn't know a monster was loose in Havensport district. It was about to devour her. Hannah shut her eyes in despair. Then a voice pierced the rain. Wouldn't eating me be more fun than eating a little girl? Come on, I'm in a hurry. The monster flew into a rage. This human dared mock it, but as it lunged to tear him apart, cracks spread across its body. 2.5 minutes later, I studied the mark on its forehead. It matched a demonic cult from my fourth life. Why was it here on Earth? I sent my divine sense into it. Their location was exposed instantly. Several black-robed figures stood in an unfinished building in Havensport. Suddenly, Malcolm Voss coughed up blood. Run. The other robed figures were baffled. Elder, what's wrong? The ritual isn't finished. Then Malcolm seemed to see something. Terror spread across his face. Once I got the information I needed, I eliminated everyone except Malcolm. I secretly marked him, then let him go. The downpour overhead had faded to a drizzle. I unlocked my front door and pushed it open. But before I could step inside, I stumbled. A warm body suddenly threw itself into my arms. Master, you're back. Warm, orchid-scented breath brushed my ear. My eyes went wide. I froze. Damn, why did this feel so familiar? Only after 2.5 minutes did she let go. That's when I finally got a good look at her. Her long black hair danced in the breeze. Happiness shone clearly in her eyes. I could only laugh helplessly and say 2 words. Chloe. She was the final villain of my first life. Of all 9 heroines, she was the most ruthless I'd ever known. She once sacrificed the entire world to become an emperor. I shuddered at the smiling girl before me. Only I knew what this seemingly cute girl was hiding beneath that innocent face. Master, aren't you happy to see me? Chloe narrowed her crescent eyes and leaned to my ear. She murmured sweetly, No, no, no. I stammered, breathing in her scent. Your student has missed you so much, Master. The next second, she shoved me onto the couch. Chloe immediately wrapped herself around me again. She gazed into my eyes with open affection. Hold on. Stop. I quickly shouted. Who knew what she'd do next if I didn't stop her? Don't you like it, Master? Chloe giggled dreamily. Your master is angry. Get off me. I took a deep breath. I put on the authority I'd had in my first life. But apparently that no longer worked. Chloe breathed against me and said, I'm not that clueless little girl anymore. What if you run away again? I calmly held her gaze. Fine, fine. I'll get down. After a moment, Chloe stuck out her tongue and backed down. After all, I was the master she'd longed for. I got up and grabbed cold milk from the fridge. I gulped down several mouthfuls to recover. Then I splashed cold water on my face several times. Chloe's beautiful almond eyes seemed full of pink hearts. She watched me the whole time, following my every move. Once I'd calmed down, I looked at her. How did you get here? Chloe pouted and complained. You're so cruel, Master. You faked your death in front of everyone. You left me all alone. Then she whispered in my ear, But you can't escape me. Your scent has always been etched in my heart. I searched for you for 1,000 years. This time, you won't get away no matter what. Her words brought back memories of my first life. It was an age of glaciers. Disaster like snow and ice froze countless lives. Many rogue cultivators died in the cold, leaving only frozen bones. Ordinary people had it even worse. In a poor village stood a tiny thatched hut. Its roof was buried beneath thick ice and snow. It sagged as if it might collapse at any moment. I gently pushed open the broken door. Little Chloe was curled up inside. Parts of her body were stiff and purple from the cold. The system told me Chloe's story. Her birth mother died because of her on the day she was born. Then, when Chloe turned 1, her father fell from a cliff and was never found. Rumors soon spread through the village. They said Chloe was cursed and destined to kill her parents. Still, her uncle took her in. 3 years later, bandits killed him too. Many villagers also fell to the bandits' blades. Half the village was wiped out. Everyone blamed all that misfortune on the young Chloe. From then on, little Chloe became a beggar. She fought other beggars for scraps in town, but she couldn't beat the older beggars. Eventually, she had to fight stray dogs for food. That miserable life hung over Chloe like a nightmare. But under the system's orders, I watched her for a full year before stepping in. Chloe stared at me from the doorway, wary and afraid. She looked used to being beaten and cursed at by adults. My heart ached as I gently asked the curled-up girl, "Do you want to come with me? I'll take care of you." Chloe was 5 that year. "If you raised me, master, why did you abandon me?" Chloe's words pulled me back to the present. I looked at Chloe, whose face was now covered in tears. My heart clenched. How could I explain? The truth was a blade. It could kill without ever leaving its sheath. "It's okay. If you won't tell me, you must have your reasons. But now that I'm here, you can't escape. Your world's heavenly law is pretty interesting." "What do you mean?" "This world's heavenly law is incomplete, but I can feel it recovering. Can even suppress and reject me. Probably won't be long before I have to leave." "Isn't that fascinating, master? Once this world's heavenly law fully recovers, this world will become a powerful star among the vast realms. I'm surprised its heavenly law can reject you." I knew Chloe's abilities all too well, but that was good news. Chloe was a ticking time bomb on Earth, and I couldn't watch her forever. "I know what you're thinking. If you run again, I'll kill everyone here and drag you to some forgotten little world where you'll spend your life by my side." Chloe smiled sweetly, but a cold killing intent colored her voice. Then she turned into a streak of light and left. I collapsed onto the couch, already exhausted. One Chloe had managed to cross worlds. The other 8 villains might follow her here too. Every one of them was an emperor. I just wanted a quiet, ordinary life. They all seemed sweet and obedient, but I knew the truth. Deep down, they were dangerously obsessive. One Chloe was already too much. There were 8 more like her. What would happen if all 9 gathered here? I didn't dare imagine the bloodbath that might follow. Just then, my phone buzzed. Madison had flooded my screen with messages. "Ethan, are you asleep? Ethan, why are you ignoring me? Ethan, are you dead? Ethan, when are they cremating you?" I was irritated. "What time is it? Why are you carrying on like this? I told you we shouldn't have anything to do with each other." After I sent it, the screen showed her typing. The message kept appearing and disappearing. After a while, her reply came. "Do you really hate me that much?" I could almost feel her hurt through the screen. But I continued. "Being around me is dangerous." I wasn't lying. Chloe was a dangerous variable. I just felt uneasy. I constantly felt those cold eyes watching me from the dark. The Chloe found out about Madison. I didn't dare imagine the consequences. Meanwhile, in a pink bedroom, Madison kicked her bare feet beneath the covers. He clearly hated her. What a ridiculous excuse. "Ethan, I, Madison Sterling, am never speaking to you again. Humph. If I ever text you again, I'm a dog." She shut off her phone and curled up under the covers. She tossed and turned, feeling ants crawling under her skin. Finally, she opened her phone and typed 2 words. Then she nervously reassured herself. One last time. Really, the last time. She didn't know I'd already fallen fast asleep. At sunrise the next morning, what should have been a beautiful day, I felt awful. Half asleep, I felt something pinning me down. Sleep paralysis. That was my first thought. But then I realized that made no sense. The heavenly law had limited me, but I was still a nascent soul cultivator. What ghost would dare pin me down? And why did my ear feel wet? I didn't even own a cat. Then I realized what was happening and opened my eyes. "Master, you're awake." Chloe's eyes were full of love. "Seriously?" I shot upright and pushed her off me. Chloe smiled brightly. "Why are you being so mean, master? Weren't you being suppressed by the heavenly law? When did you get here?" I felt a headache coming on. "What? You don't want me here, master?" I immediately sensed danger in the air. I quickly denied it. "No, I was just asking when you arrived." Chloe moved her beautiful face closer. "Are you scared, master? Afraid I'll eat you?" Her warm breath washed over me. One finger traced circles over my chest. "You still call me your master? What kind of student acts like this? You still call me your master? What kind of student acts like this?" When she kept pushing, I had to put on a stern face. I couldn't beat Chloe anyway. If she really lost control, I couldn't stop her. After a while, Chloe stood with a smile. "This world's heavenly law does suppress me. But if I suppress my own power, I can stay here for a long time. As for when I arrived, I came while you were asleep, of course." I was shocked. I hadn't sensed her at all. "What level are you suppressed to? Even suppressed, you still can't beat me. So you'd better not get any funny ideas." I forced a laugh and said nothing, but thought to myself, I'm the one who should be worried about your funny ideas. "Master, do Do you really not want to come home with me? I gave a helpless smile. Chloe, this is my real home. What about me? You promised me a home. Does that promise mean nothing now? Seeing the tears in her eyes, I fell silent. I still remembered how happy Chloe had been when she learned we'd have a home together. Sadly, both of those homes had been destroyed in her heart. Even I thought it had all been a dream. The moment I returned, it should have vanished like a bubble. I never expected Chloe to cross the stars and find me again. I couldn't bring myself to be cruel, so I sighed. Good girl, Chloe. I'm still your master. This is your home now. Don't lie to me again, master. Where I am doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where our home is. What matters is having you by my side. A home only counts if you're there. I won't lie to you again. Then pinky promise, master. No changing your mind for 100 years. Where did you learn that? Humph. I've studied all the culture in your world. I even know what a phone is. At Chloe's level, learning human culture was easy. But I have 3 rules for you. If you don't agree, don't come looking for me again. As long as you're with me, I'd agree to 10 rules, not just 3. I agree. And whatever you want to do to me, I'll agree to it. So what do you want to do? Chloe, I'm being serious. Hum. I sighed helplessly. Rule 1. No random killing. Rule 2. Ask my permission before doing anything. Rule 3. Don't reveal your power. Chloe frowned. What if I meet someone I hate? I can't kill them? She really did have a taste for killing. I could only sigh. She had used billions of lives to become an emperor after all. To Chloe, killing people was as ordinary as eating a meal, and no one could stop her. Then you need my permission before killing anyone. You only act when I say someone can be killed. Chloe nodded reluctantly. Chloe's phone lit up. A message popped up. Madison's profile picture lit up. Good morning, you idiot, Ethan. Chloe stared at the message. A murderous glint appeared in her eyes. She tapped Madison's profile. The girl in the photo looked young and radiant. She wore an elegant dress. Her charming smile seemed to outshine the scenery behind her. The room suddenly turned cold. A deadly chill surrounded Chloe. I watched Chloe glare at the screen with murderous intent. My heart jolted. Oh no, I snatched the phone from her. Sure enough, Madison had just sent another message. I stiffly typed a rejection. Yeah. Chloe, you probably haven't tried food from this world. I'll cook something for you. I coughed, trying to change the subject. But Chloe's icy, emotionless voice came next. What is she to you? I shifted uneasily. She's my classmate. There's nothing between us. Chloe could tell I wasn't lying. If there's nothing between you, can I kill her? She's really just a classmate. I'd be a dog if I were lying. But the killing intent in Chloe's eyes didn't fade. Seeing that, I patiently tried to reassure her. She's not a bad person. She's just my classmate. I only want a quiet life here. This will only cause trouble for me. This is our home now, isn't it? That last sentence seemed to reach Chloe. The killing intent in her eyes slowly faded. Soon, Chloe's mouth was stuffed full. Her eyes curved into happy crescents. Master, I'm really starting to love this world. In her world, she'd never tasted anything like cream cake. I'm glad you like it. I smiled. The way Chloe ate was still as adorable as when she was little. Then my phone started vibrating like crazy. I glanced at it but hesitated to open it. Chloe gave me a knowing look. Aren't you gonna check it, master? Her stare made me feel like I'd been caught stealing. I gave an awkward laugh and opened the messages. The class group chat was already blowing up. Tyler had sent hundreds of cries for help. Then he posted a video. The shaky camera pointed out the window. A massive creature covered in scales appeared on screen. This terrifying presence came through even in the video. Master, what's wrong? Chloe could tell from my expression that something was wrong. A monster has my classmate trapped. Stay here. I'll handle it. I'm coming too. The monsters here are pathetic. Let me handle it. Chloe's face lit up with excitement. No, stay home and wait for me. I firmly shut her down. She'd be worse than the monsters. Chloe pouted, clearly unhappy. Then be careful, master. But what I didn't expect was, Chloe sneaked after me once I left. By the time I arrived, the Bureau of Arcane Security was already there. High above, among the clouds, Chloe settled into hiding. She obeyed me and had no plans to act. But she suddenly found, secretly watching my every move. Oddly thrilling. Grant Whitmore was Havensport's only core formation cultivator. He faced a man and a beast. What will you choose, Mr. Whitmore? Malcolm Voss taunted him. There are still 300 civilians in that building. Grant's expression changed. What do you want? Smart man, Mr. Whitmore. Hand over the Dreadbeast blood orb and we'll leave. Never. You want the Dreadbeast's power, but you can keep dreaming. The two sides immediately clashed. I flashed outside the building. Inside, total chaos had broken out. Several black-robed men had appeared from nowhere. They brutally killed everyone they saw. But just after I cleared them out, thunder exploded in the distance. Their methods were vicious. But just after I cleared them out, thunder exploded in the distance. A familiar presence entered my divine sense. I rushed toward it. In a dark alley, the Acheron Syndicate members who had stolen the Dreadbeast blood orb stared fearfully at the woman in red. Who are you? Who I am doesn't matter. In your next life, don't upset my master. Terrifying red lightning engulfed them. Adrian Pike's face fell. He suddenly felt utterly powerless. There was nowhere to hide from the endless lightning. The devastating power erupted. The abandoned factory crumbled like tofu in an instant. Just as Adrian thought he was dead, a large hand pulled him from the lightning. Holding Adrian, I landed beside Chloe and frowned. Didn't I tell you to wait at home? Master, I couldn't stand being alone. Seeing my cold stare, Chloe turned on the charm. Adrian's eyes were full of terror. Who the hell are you? But no one answered. I entered his mind and searched his soul. Within moments, I saw in his memories a man seated on a throne of beast bones. If I was right, this was the Acheron Syndicate's leader. Then his gaze fell on me. The man on the throne opened his eyes. His crimson eyes burned with killing intent. Our gazes met across countless miles as if we stood face to face. Stay out of Havensport. Otherwise, wherever you are, I'll kill you. I met Damien Crow's stare with a cold warning. His crimson eyes studied me, then slowly closed. Leaving Adrian's mind, I was surprised. He had sensed me through someone else's memories. Earth really was full of hidden powerhouses. But without the heavenly law suppressing me, I could crush them all with one hand. Chloe then pulled a green orb from Adrian. So this holds an ancient dreadbeast's true blood? It's weaker than my onyx. Chloe eyed the orb with disdain. I felt awkward. Onyx was an ascendant spirit beast from the Nightwing Tiger clan. A little dreadbeast blood couldn't compare. The real dreadbeast might be another story. Just then, a figure raced down from the sky. Feeling the crushing pressure, he bowed. Thank you both for recovering the dreadbeast blood orb for the Bureau. I'll make sure your service is reported. Grant didn't directly ask for the orb. He took a subtler approach. But if they refused to return it, he'd have no choice but to accept it. It's useless to me. You can have it back. I tossed him the orb and left with Chloe. Grant let out a long breath. He was normally proud of his strength. But moments ago he'd felt like a tiny ant, facing an elephant, helpless and hopeless. Meanwhile, at the Bureau, Natalie Whitmore stared at the footage in shock. That figure looked just like the person caught on camera in last night's rain. Then Grant's voice came through. If he wants to stay anonymous, leave him alone. Night had fallen. Chloe and I returned home. I dealt with today's trouble, but one problem still gave me a headache. Chloe, you're a grown woman. Don't you have your own room? I glared at my eldest disciple, who had crawled into my bed. I'll always be your little girl, master. Chloe buried her head against my chest and cooed. Get out. My head was about to explode. But when I got up to switch rooms, I realized Chloe had restrained me. Chloe, what are you doing? I was angry, so I put on my stern master act again. I only feel safe when I'm holding you. Do you think I'm a bad woman, master? Do you think I'm a bad woman, master? Chloe looked up pitifully, close to tears. Her shameless lie made me laugh in disbelief. An emperor feels unsafe, but I'm supposed to feel fine? Meanwhile, in the endless galaxy, this is the 138th planet we've searched. Do you even know what you're doing? Now you're worried? You didn't cherish him before. Regret it now? How dare you? Evelyn's eyes flashed with fury. This wasn't the first time Selena had called her that. You think I don't want to find my lord? He's my master, not your lord. You shameless woman. You won't even show your face. Killing intent surged around Evelyn. They bickered like children fighting over a toy. Only my lord may see my face. It's not for you to look at. My lord, where are you? I want to see you again. Selena's body writhed with longing. Seeing Selena move like that, Evelyn snapped. Cold grace flared as terrifying sword intent descended like storm clouds. Meanwhile, I lay in bed, dead inside. Chloe clung to me like an octopus. Her overwhelming power kept me from moving. You smell so good, master. Chloe blinked and giggled. Chloe, haven't you had enough? It's morning. Can you let me up? Never. I just want to hold you. Her adoring gaze left me conflicted. I looked away, but then two small hands pulled my face back toward hers. I was completely at her mercy. Inside, I screamed. How did this happen? 3 days passed. Master, I have to leave for a while. Chloe said with a gloomy pout. I was thrilled inside but kept a straight face. Is the heavenly law forcing you out? This world's heavenly law is recovering fast. It's rejecting me more and more. And after using my power last time, I can tell I need to leave immediately. Chloe sprawled across the bed, sulking. It's okay. This will always be your home. Come back anytime. I comforted the troublesome Chloe. Her leaving was actually good news for me. I couldn't watch her every second. Who knew what she might do? You're the best, master. Chloe beamed and hugged me from behind. After comforting her, I headed out. Even the air tasted sweet. But after I left, Chloe gave a sly smile and secretly followed me. I returned to class. But when I sat down, I found Madison in front, glaring daggers at me. Tyler immediately stopped chattering in my ear. His eyes gleamed with curiosity. I pretended not to see Madison's glare and looked away again. Ethan Hayes. My attitude made Madison even angrier. What? Why are you ignoring me? Madison's eyes reddened. Her face hurt. She'd sent me so many messages, but I hadn't answered one. Even in class, I wouldn't speak to her. Didn't we agree? You said it was a deal. I feigned confusion. Madison froze. Then she remembered saying she'd never speak to Ethan again. That annoying jerk had replied, "Deal," then stopped answering her. Madison bared her little fangs. She wanted to bite him to death. Before she could speak, the class erupted in cheers. She turned around and saw a girl in red standing at the door. Her stunning beauty was like a cold moon fallen to earth. "Hey gorgeous, what class are you in? Who are you looking for? Can I get your number?" Every boy in class was excited. Chloe ignored every attempt to flirt. Then she saw me and smiled. She happily walked over. "So this is where you study, master. Why are you here?" I asked in surprise. "Because I missed you." Chloe blinked playfully. Madison listened beside us. The light faded from her eyes. Was this why Ethan had ignored her? She studied the beautiful girl before her and had to admit she was stunning. Madison had always been extremely confident in her looks, but seeing this mysterious girl today shook that confidence for the first time. Then Madison noticed Chloe looking at her. For some reason, she grew nervous. The air around her suddenly turned cold. Maybe Madison imagined it, but in Chloe's blood-red eyes, she saw murderous intent aimed at her. A bone-deep chill pierced her heart. Madison felt as if her body might explode into pieces at any moment. Seeing Chloe radiate killing intent, I tensed. I was ready to save Madison at any second. "You're Madison Sterling, right?" Chloe's icy black eyes looked down at the pretty girl. Madison froze. "And you are?" she asked cautiously. A primal chill seeped into her bones. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Chloe Blackwood. A master's student. I saw you on his phone." Madison immediately understood. Chloe had seen all the messages she'd sent me. Madison felt embarrassed and humiliated. She felt like a mistress caught by the girlfriend. "Nice to meet you." Chloe's icy red eyes studied the nervous girl. Killing intent flashed through them. "Go near Master again, and I'll kill you." Chloe sent the warning directly into her mind. Master was her only weakness. Anyone who wanted him had to die. She hadn't killed Madison on the spot, only because she didn't want to cause trouble for Master. After all, this was his home. But if Madison kept pushing, Chloe had plenty of ways to make her disappear without a trace. Madison's face turned deathly pale. Her eyes widened. She stared at Chloe, gripped by an unknown terror. Chloe hadn't moved her lips, so why had Madison hurt her? She was close to breaking, held up only by stubborn pride. Seeing Madison frozen there, I knew Chloe had spoken into her mind. I sighed and sent Chloe a private warning. Chloe withdrew her icy gaze and leaned to my ear. "Master, while I'm gone, don't go chasing other women." Her hot breath tickled my ear. I said flatly, "It's time for you to go. You're so heartless, Master." Chloe wasn't upset. She smiled at me from the door, then left. Holy crap, she scared me to death. After Chloe left, Tyler patted his chest. Standing closest to her, he'd felt the girl in red's overwhelming presence. No normal girl could have an aura like that. Meanwhile, spiritual energy had returned to the Crownspire range 40 years ago. A massive rift stretched across the mountains. Whenever a monster tried to emerge, the Bureau would immediately suppress it with overwhelming force. But today, 10 core formation monsters had gathered in the range. The Bureau would have been stunned to learn this. If these core formation monsters got loose, the damage would be catastrophic. Yet every monster now bowed in the same direction, as if awaiting someone's arrival. A whirlpool formed at the center of the lake. An elegant young woman emerged. She wore a lavish palace gown, as if she'd stepped from an ancient painting. 3 years. At last I found you. Vivian Fox gazed into the distance, her shimmering eyes piercing through the world. "You can't escape me." 3 days later, at a small class reunion. Why isn't Ethan here? "Tyler, did you tell him?" Someone glared at Tyler, who was on his phone. "Oh, I forgot." Tyler scratched his head, embarrassed, then called me. "Ethan, hurry up. Everyone's waiting." "Not coming. Bye." Everyone looked at Madison in the seat of honor. The private room instantly went cold. Madison's lashes trembled as she forced a smile. It's fine. I'll have them serve the food. Madison's petite body stumbled slightly. Once outside, all her strength left her. She leaned against the wall. Without the person she wanted to see, Madison barely spoke at dinner. Madison had never drunk fruit wine before, but tonight, she ordered a bottle. Usually, whenever she smelled it on her father, she'd cover her nose and keep her distance. But this time, she wanted to know what it tasted like. The dinner passed in tense silence. After dinner, most people left. Madison laid her head on the table and began to sob. Tyler called me. Madison's crying. You should come. I brushed it off. Her crying has nothing to do with me. Call someone else. Tyler didn't know what to say. Just then, the door flew open. Logan wore a sinister grin. My dad knows Mr. Sterling. I'm here to take Madison home. After texting me, Tyler stood up. What, you want to fight? Logan barked. Get him. I'll pay for whatever gets broken. His goons rushed Tyler at once. Logan used the chance to approach Madison. He chuckled at the crying girl. Come on, Madison. After tonight, you'll love me. Logan snickered. Just as he reached for her soft hand, a cold voice stopped everyone. Will you knock it off? I appeared before them. Throw him out. Logan ordered coldly. His goons grinned and came at me. Moments later, they were all at my feet. As I approached, Logan stepped back. What are you doing? My dad's Richard Pierce. You can't hit me. The next moment, his face burned with pain. Terrified, Logan fled. The remaining classmates wisely left too. Only Madison and I remained. Madison was completely wasted. I sighed helplessly. I had to help her toward the nearby Rolls-Royce. Madison squirmed in my arms like a restless kitten. Her fingers played with my hair. Ethan, you big idiot. Lady, you're wasted. I brushed her off. I like you. I don't like you. Give it a rest. I don't care. Even if you don't like me, I still like you. Madison suddenly shouted. Fine, fine. You like me. The stares around us left me embarrassed. After getting Madison into the car, I left. Madison woke at midnight with her heart racing. Her thoughts ran wild until she snapped out of it. Madison, what are you thinking? She didn't regret confessing tonight. Now that she decided, she'd fight for him. You can do this, Madison. You're the best. Madison clenched her fists and kept cheering herself on. After midnight, Logan went out to blow off steam. But outside he ran into a stunning woman in a palace gown. His gloomy eyes instantly lit up. He'd never seen anyone so beautiful. Her alluring face could captivate anyone. Every step made Logan's heart pound. Logan instantly forgot all about Madison. He saw only the enchanting woman before him. To his delight, she walked straight toward him. My luck's finally here. I just hit the jackpot. Hey gorgeous, are you an actress? Logan swallowed and asked with a polite smile. Vivian only stared at him. She sniffed, then shook her head. Vivian only stared at him. She sniffed, then shook her head. Her behavior left Logan confused. Gorgeous. Do I smell like something? You're not him. Vivian's velvety voice replied. Her voice made Logan weak in the knees. Her sultry tone pierced his soul. Who are you looking for? Why don't we exchange numbers? My dad's Richard Pierce. Logan boldly stepped closer. Strange. You're not him, so why do you carry his scent? Vivian murmured softly. She saw the desire burning inside him. Look into my eyes. Vivian's hypnotic voice filled Logan's ears. Logan shuddered as a vortex appeared in her eyes. Vivian instantly entered his mind. In his memories, she found the man she longed for. She also saw Logan's past conflicts with me. Her alluring gaze turned colder than hell. From his memories, Vivian pinpointed Ethan's location. She withdrew and glanced coldly at the dazed Logan. She spared him, licked her lips, and looked into the distance. I'm coming. The next moment, she vanished. Logan remained frozen in place. Drool ran down his chin. His lackeys came out looking for him. Logan, what are you doing out here? Owen Mercer saw Logan standing motionless by the door. He approached and spoke. Logan suddenly spun around. His vacant eyes burned with desire. In Logan's eyes, the chubby Owen had become a beautiful mystery woman. Owen froze at Logan's stare. A sickening chill hit him. Before he could react, his eyes widened. He shoved Logan away with all his strength and fled. Logan sprang up and chased him. Meanwhile, Vivian appeared outside my home. You made me search so long. How should I punish you? The next moment, Vivian appeared beside my bed. Her loving eyes watched me sleep. You may be younger, but you're still you. Vivian whispered. Her pale hand gently stroked my cheek. Chloe, stop. Chloe, stop. Startled, I opened my eyes. A familiar yet distant face came into view. The affection vanished from Vivian's eyes. It was replaced by an icy chill. Who's Chloe? Vivian continued blankly. Once I recognized her, cold sweat broke out. Answer me. Who's Chloe? Vivian's chill deepened. turning the room into a frozen wasteland. Chloe is a pet I raised. I had no choice but to say that. Vivian wasn't the cruelest of the 9, but she was by far the most jealous. Chloe was ruthless, but at least she listened to me. Vivian was different. She wanted complete control over me. Vivian sneered. You know what happens when you lie to me, right? Sweat poured down my forehead as I forced myself to stay calm. Chloe's female. She likes makeup, so she smells a little feminine. I looked straight into her icy eyes. I couldn't look away now. In my second life, I once lied to Vivian. She locked me up for 3 whole months. I'd rather face the murderous Chloe than stay with this deeply unstable Vivian. Fine, I'll believe you for now. Vivian chuckled. Of course she knew I was lying. As ruler of Moonvale Realm, she could smell lies. But Vivian didn't want to press it. She'd cross time and space to finally find me. She wouldn't get angry over something so trivial. She could simply kill every woman around me. I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. But just as I was about to ask how she got here, her soft, cool face pressed against mine. My eyes flew open. Then pain shot through my lips. Vivian was biting me. How did you find me? I'm a 9-tailed fox. Then pain shot through my lips. Vivian was biting me. I closed my eyes in resignation. What is wrong with you, little fox? 2.5 days later, I touched my pale lips. How did you find me? I'm a 9-tailed fox. No matter how far you hide, I can track your scent. Vivian gave an enchanting smile. I fell silent, facing these immensely powerful heroines, each capable of destroying a world. I was under unbearable pressure. Chloe was no longer that little 4 or 5-year-old girl. And Vivian wasn't the little fox I could pet whenever I wanted. Every heroine had terrifying power, and every one of them was a little unhinged. Vivian had loved biting people since she was little. I actually came to your world 3 years ago. But finding you drained much of my life force, so I fell into a deep sleep. I was stunned. Vivian had crossed the river of time and reached Earth before Chloe. 3 years ago, I was still in my 9th life in Evelyn's world. You'll never escape me. Vivian brushed her nose against my cheek. Our eyes were inches apart. In those seductive eyes, I saw 1,000 years of repressed longing. I looked away and sighed. A finished story should have ended there. Why did it need a sequel? The room's temperature plummeted. Vivian's gaze turned menacing as she spoke each word. You died and left me behind. And now you call that a perfect ending? Who gave you permission to die? Vivian grew frantic and grabbed my throat. Why won't you answer me? Say something. Seeing my blank expression, panic flashed through her icy eyes. I saved you, and this is how you treat me? Hearing my emotionless words, Vivian completely panicked. She quickly let go and threw herself into my arms. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Her endless longing became glistening tears that soaked my face. Feeling her tremble in my arms, I sighed. At that moment, I just wanted to flee this world. 1 second she was an aloof queen, the next my sweet Vivian. Please don't be mad at me, master. You can punish me however you like. Vivian gently nuzzled against me. Something fluffy brushed my face. 9 snow-white foxtails filled the bedroom. 2 white ears popped out atop Vivian's head. They twitched back and forth. I pushed one tail aside. Let me up. You don't like me this way, master? How about this? Vivian turned into a dog-sized white fox. She gazed at me lovingly. I picked her up and set her aside, my head pounding. One Chloe was enough. Now I had this split personality too. The real trouble would start when Chloe returned. I couldn't imagine what would happen when they met. Has the heavenly law not suppressed you these past 3 years? When I first arrived, this world's heavenly law was nothing but fragments. But when I woke, it had already taken shape and was actively suppressing me. Given more time, this world will enter a golden age. Vivian spoke with clear caution, but I was secretly delighted. Earth's heavenly law could suppress 2 emperors in a row. That was great news for me. Then Vivian's next words gave me a headache. So I've decided to take you away. We'll find a world just for us. Then I'll give you a litter of fox kits. Vivian's tone allowed no refusal. You're insane. Who'd have fox kits with a psycho like you? I rejected her without hesitation. Vivian's icy aura returned, but I stood my ground. This is my home. I'm not going anywhere. I expected Vivian to lose her temper again, but her icy aura instantly vanished. I'll listen to you. Just don't abandon me again. Sure enough, with someone as unstable as Vivian, I had to stand firm. Aren't you happy to see me, master? Vivian leaned in and breathed against my ear. Her warm breath sent a shiver through me. Before I could speak, I felt Vivian's lips teasing my ear. I jolted. Vivian, what are you doing? Devouring you, of course. Vivian giggled. Tonight you'll help me fulfill the wish I never got to fulfill. My head spun and I cried out in alarm. How dare you? You used the eyes of enchantment on me? So what, my dear master? Go ahead and resist me. Vivian laughed seductively. Her rosy lips moved toward mine. That was my last thought before blacking out. The night passed in silence. The next morning, a scream echoed through the villa. Madison burned with embarrassment. She'd actually had that kind of dream, and it was about that idiot Ethan. Yet beneath her shame was a hint of delight. Stupid Ethan. You big idiot. Ignoring my messages. I hate you, idiot. Even so, Madison still texted him good morning. Maybe he wasn't awake yet, but that was fine. She planned to thank him in person today. Just wait till I gank you. Meanwhile, in my bedroom, I groggily opened my eyes. A velvety voice sounded beside me. Vivian's seductive face filled my vision. Memories of last night slowly returned. Vivian had used the eyes of enchantment on me. Then I'd completely blacked out. I didn't need to guess what happened next. My whole body felt sore and weak. Mentally, I felt even worse. With these heroines around, I'd never know peace. I still hadn't defused the time bomb called Chloe, and now another firecracker had arrived. When those two bombs met, the explosion would be nuclear. Are you uncomfortable, my dear master? Vivian leaned down until our eyes met. Are you done? My voice was calm. If you're done, get off me. No way. I'll bother you for the rest of your life. Vivian brushed back her loose hair. I said nothing and simply stared at her. But gradually Vivian's eyes, beautiful enough to enchant the world, filled with sorrow. Tears shimmered within them. My heart ached. I looked away from her. Do you hate me, master? Vivian's voice trembled with tears. Then why won't you even look at me? You don't even call me Vivian anymore. A tear fell from Vivian's eye onto my chest. I sighed deeply. I gently cupped Vivian's tearful face and wiped her tears away. I sighed deeply. I gently cupped Vivian's tearful face and wiped her tears away. Vivian nestled into my arms. Master, do you know how long I searched for you? How long I've missed you? For a moment, Vivian was that teenage girl again. Whenever she messed up, she'd cry in my arms for comfort. Everyone's waiting for you. Please come back with me. You can't go back. This is my world. I lowered my gaze. Don't you want to see them? Vivian looked completely baffled. Her question filled me with sorrow. In my second life, I failed many people. There was Master Avery, who foresaw part of my future and chose to die, willing to sacrifice everything to take me back from the heavenly law. And Daniel, who saved me time and again, even after I'd betrayed our order. Still, I shook my head. This is my home. I'm not leaving. Vivian smiled tenderly, tracing circles on my chest. Wherever you are, I'll be there. Then her voice turned serious. If you ever abandon me without a word again, I'll kill everyone here. I froze. Why did every heroine think like this? Vivian, if you want to stay, you must follow my rules. First, no random killing. Second, don't reveal your power. Third, don't act recklessly. I had deliberately changed Chloe's third rule. Unlike bloodthirsty Chloe, Vivian agreed immediately. I could only hope Vivian and Chloe never met. Just then, the doorbell rang. My heart jumped. Was Chloe back? Probably not. She'd never bother ringing. As I got up, a hand pushed me back down. You're tired, master. Rest. I'll get it. A nine-tailed fox could smell any emotion. Vivian wanted to see who was outside. Could it be that troublemaker Chloe? Outside, Madison wore a sweet smile. She wondered if that idiot Ethan would be shocked to see her. She hid beside the door, ready to scare him. The door clicked open. Madison jumped out like a little bunny. But instead of Ethan, she found a glamorous older woman. Madison's face froze in embarrassment. Madison's face froze in embarrassment. Sorry, wrong house. Madison assumed she had the wrong door. She checked the address on her phone. But this is right. She looked up to find Vivian watching her with amusement. Hi, ma'am. Is this Ethan Hayes' home? Madison boldly asked. Immortal. Vivian purred. She sensed no spiritual power from the girl, who looked like a delicate porcelain doll. Are you Chloe? Vivian smiled and gently tilted Madison's chin up. Madison was stunned. I'm not Chloe. I'm Madison Sterling. Madison quickly replied, then thought, this woman looks like she's in her 30s. She must be one of that idiot's relatives. Good thinking, Madison. Ma'am, I'm Ethan's classmate. Is he home? He had a tiring night. He's asleep. Vivian replied with a teasing smile. Madison was disappointed, but then had an idea. If this woman was Ethan's relative, getting on her good side would give Madison an advantage. Ma'am, how are you related to Ethan? Vivian gave a wicked smile. I'm Ethan's wife. What? The air seemed to freeze. Madison's shock was unmistakable. That's impossible. You're so much older than him. Vivian feigned surprise. Too bad. He likes older women. Little girls like you aren't his type. You're doing this on purpose. Go home, little girl. Ethan is out of your league. Vivian gave her a friendly wave and shut the door. There was no fun in bullying a mortal girl. A little teasing was enough. Go home, little girl. Ethan is out of your league. Vivian gave her a friendly wave and shut the door. There was no fun in bullying a mortal girl. A little teasing was enough. Vivian was far more eager to meet Chloe. Madison left the neighborhood in a daze. Even without seeing me, she refused to believe Vivian was my wife. Then a bold theory crossed her mind. She quickly opened our chat. Ethan, you idiot. I can support you too. I stared at the message in total confusion. Seriously? What's wrong with you? Seeing my instant reply, Madison's face lit up. Then she read it and got mad. She's so much older than you. Is she your sugar mama? I let out a long sigh. Madison really was missing a few screws. Why was she so hung up on me? She's not. I knew it. Madison's mood instantly brightened. After replying, I tossed my phone aside. Time flew, especially while lounging at home. Soon, only 3 days remained before college. Thankfully, Vivian didn't try anything intimate again. She only kept dragging me out shopping. Vivian was curious about everything. She looked here, then there. While clinging to my arm, she affectionately nuzzled my shoulder. Feeling the pressure against my arm, I finally snapped. Vivian, can you behave? Don't you like it, master? Vivian giggled and breathed against my ear. But before I could scold her, an icy voice came from ahead. Master. Those 2 syllables made my heart lurch. I stiffly turned my head. Chloe stood nearby, dressed in red. Her black eyes revealed nothing. I'm screwed. That was my only thought. The 2 great villainesses finally faced off. Vivian looked over and sensed a familiar power equal to her own. Don't you have anything to say, master? Chloe's voice held no emotion. Dark clouds spread across Havensport. Within seconds, they covered the city. The clear blue sky was instantly swallowed by endless darkness. Terrifying thunder rolled within it. People on the street had no idea what was happening. They only felt a bone-chilling cold, as if they'd fallen into hell. They all fled at once. Apocalyptic lightning writhed through the clouds like black dragons. It locked onto Vivian with deadly intent, ready to strike. So this is the woman named Chloe? She looks terrifying. Be sure to protect yourself, master. Don't let that awful woman near you. Vivian, seriously? You're still provoking her? You don't have to explain, master. I'll kill this home-wrecking fox first. Humph. That's no way to talk to your elder, little girl. You see, I'm no homewrecker. Ha ha ha. You have a death wish. Chloe raised her hand, and from the dark sky, a massive bolt of black lightning erupted, carried world-ending power. Chloe looked cold and resolute, like a god who ruled over life and death. Vivian grew serious and stepped in front of me. With a wave of her hand, terrifying foxfire rose like a fire dragon with its jaws wide open. The raging foxfire collided with the apocalyptic lightning. Neither side could overpower the other. Their clashing power shook the entire space. I stared in horror and cursed inside. These 2 really started fighting without a second thought. They showed me absolutely no respect. I unleashed all my available power. I couldn't join the fight, so I focused on containing the shockwaves. Otherwise, at least half of Havensport would be leveled. Countless people would die, and I couldn't allow that. Meanwhile, at the Whitmore estate, Grant Whitmore stared at the darkened sky, frozen in place. He swallowed and stammered. The sky. It's changing. Havenport's strongest cultivator now felt smaller than an ant. Then something changed inside him. The peak core formation barrier that had held him back suddenly began to loosen. Grant hesitated briefly, then decided to investigate. He might die there, but the chance to reach nascent soul was too tempting. Soon, a pale Grant stopped atop a skyscraper. This was as close as his strength allowed. Several figures emerged from the darkness and landed on the roof. They spread out. Grant saw that they were all disguised. Their faces were completely hidden. He gave a faint sneer. He could roughly guess who they were. Some were likely retainers of powerful families. Others might belong to underground groups. Some were rogue cultivators hiding in Havensport. All had come to use the energy above and break through. Time slowly passed. The black lightning and foxfire kept clashing overhead. They remained evenly matched. Chloe stood amid the storm clouds, her gaze utterly cold. Her world-ending lightning kept growing stronger. She had only left briefly to evade this world's suppression. Yet when she returned, she found a home-wrecking fox beside her master. Seeing Vivian cling to his arm was unforgivable. She'd never let anyone else lay claim to master. Vivian refused to back down. A colossal 9-tailed phantom rose behind her. Across the chaotic sky, her crimson, soul-devouring foxfire turned half the heavens into an inferno. The crimson flames collided with the destructive black lightning. The impact threatened to tear the world apart. and I was stuck at the center of it all. Chloe, stop. After I kill this fox seducing you, master. Little girl, you don't even have a chest. But you sure talk big. Ha ha ha. Vivian, stop provoking her. You're so biased, master. You're defending that awful woman. My head was about to split. If I didn't stop them, all of Havensport would be erased by their growing power. Chloe, if I'm still your master, then stop. You too, Vivian. This is my home. I won't let innocent people get hurt. Both of you, stop. If you want to fight, little girl, we'll take it into space. Wait for me, master. Chloe withdrew her lightning and left first. Wait here while I teach that rude brat a lesson, master. Vivian giggled. Wrapped in crimson foxfire, she chased after Chloe. The darkness receded like a tide. The sky cleared again. Seeing that, I quickly left. Why did it end so soon? Someone stood up, frustrated. The others looked equally upset. They had all been on the verge of a breakthrough. But the energy vanished just before they succeeded. As they wallowed in frustration, another powerful aura erupted across the roof. Everyone turned toward Grant. Their faces changed in shock. That was a nascent soul aura. Without hesitation, they fled the rooftop. They feared he'd stop them if they lingered. Without hesitation, they fled the rooftop. They feared he'd stop them if they lingered. After a while, Grant slowly opened his eyes. Feeling the boundless power inside him, he was ecstatic. Meanwhile, in the vast galaxy, both women released their suppressed power. The two emperors faced each other. Terrifying killing intent raged between them. Anything caught between them would die. Chloe's red eyes were colder than winter. She swung her arm, forming a black lightning spear. Wrapped in endless killing intent, it shot forward. Vivian showed no fear. A colossal nine-tailed fox appeared among the stars and spoke. I'll teach you a lesson for master, you arrogant little brat. An indescribable force exploded where their attacks met. Terrifying shock waves rippled outward. Everything they touched vanished. Even the stars trembled under the impact, their light flickering. Meanwhile, I returned home. What I feared most had finally happened. Chloe, the villainess from my first life, had met Vivian, the villainess from my second. It would have been fine if they could talk calmly. But both started fighting at the slightest provocation. This is all your fault, system. I collapsed onto the couch in frustration. After some time, two familiar auras appeared outside. I sat up straight and cleared my throat. Both of you, come in. Vivian started to speak, but stopped when she saw Ethan's blank expression. The words died in her throat. Chloe looked like a child caught misbehaving. She stared down, fidgeting silently. Their innocent act made me laugh in disbelief. Sit down. Are you done fighting? I glared at them. Was I wrong, master? Mischief flashed in Vivian's eyes. She moved to lean against me. Chloe raised her dark red eyes toward Vivian. The room instantly turned frigid. I asked if you're done. Sensing trouble, I slammed my hand on the table. I asked if you're done. Sensing trouble, I slammed my hand on the table. Both women jumped. They knew they'd truly angered me. They sat quietly, neither daring to speak. If you're not done, keep fighting. But neither of you may come home again, I said coldly. Chloe stopped fidgeting. She raised her reddened eyes. You don't want me anymore, master? Her voice was barely audible. I sighed and spoke gently. I'm not abandoning you. I just don't want to see you two fight again. I won't fight anymore. Please don't leave me. Chloe nuzzled against me. Vivian stared at the scene. So that's your game, you brat? Vivian fumed inside. Tears immediately filled her eyes too. She threw herself straight at me. Everything went dark as she smothered my face. Master, I won't fight anymore either. Please don't leave me. Vivian buried my face in her chest and wept. She even shot Chloe a taunting glance. Then Vivian's face suddenly stiffened. A sharp pain hit her waist. She looked down and found Chloe pinching her. Chloe glared at Vivian. Chloe, are you three? You're an emperor, yet you act like a toddler. Vivian mocked her telepathically. If I weren't worried about master, I cut down a shameless fox like you. Chloe replied coldly through telepathy. Vivian said nothing more. She smacked Chloe's butt. So flat. There's nothing there. How could master like a scrawny little girl like you? Chloe jolted and stared at her in disbelief. Embarrassed fury flashed in her red eyes. After a while, I calmed them both down and spoke to each one privately. I took Chloe into the bedroom first. The moment we entered, she threw herself into my arms. Did that fox try to seduce you? Please let me kill her. Please. I smiled helplessly and patted her head. Don't fight when you're together. Why? Chloe's eyes filled with confusion. Deep down, you and she are alike. So, did she start living with you as a child too? Yes. Just like when I brought you home from the snow. You were both lost souls I met along the way. I thought Master belonged only to me. Chloe gave a quiet laugh, and my heart tightened. I knew how these heroines felt about me. Each of them began life lost in darkness, unable to see a way forward. Some were beggars. Others were branded as cursed. But all of them suffered tragic fates. I became a light in their darkness, showing them the way. That gentle light warmed them like a spring breeze, and slowly brought their dead hearts back to life. Though those hearts would eventually leave me, that was my mission. Now Chloe had learned that my light had never belonged to her alone. Her spirit sank. Her pitiful look made my heart ache. You're all grown up. Why are you still crying? I gently wiped away Chloe's tears. Feeling my warm hand and gentle touch, a twisted look crossed Chloe's face. If I kill her, you'll belong only to me again. My hand froze. Chloe, are you disobeying me again? Master can only be mine. No one can take you away. No one. I'll kill her. Chloe began to lose control. A terrifying storm gathered around her. You're disobeying me again, aren't you? Do you remember what I told you? Seeing her like this sent chills down my spine. But Chloe ignored me and shoved me onto the bed. So I made a bold decision. Master, you hit me? Chloe stared at me in disbelief. It was the first time Master had ever hit her. Chloe didn't know how to react. I fixed my clothes, pointed at the door and said coldly, "Get out." No. Chloe looked hurt as tears fell again. But this time I showed no sympathy. Don't make me say it a third time. Get out now. Her eyes reddened as she stubbornly held my gaze. Her delicate body trembled. I looked calm, but inside, I was freaking out. If Chloe lost control, half of Earth could be destroyed. Thankfully, she didn't. She pressed her lips together and walked out. Vivian was startled to see Chloe come out crying. She'd planned to mock her, but now said nothing. After Chloe left, Vivian entered the room. Seeing my stern expression, Vivian wisely dropped her playful smile and sat quietly beside me. What's going on? Who is she? Vivian asked the same question. When she heard Chloe was like her, Vivian grew curious. Master, will you tell me about Chloe's past? I paused, then recounted everything from my first life to Vivian in full. When I finished, she said bitterly, Chloe really suffered. Vivian now felt Chloe had suffered even more than she had. Her own parents had been killed by Starvale Palace cultivators, but I rescued her before she endured much hardship. Chloe, however, had always been branded as cursed. Abandoned as a child, she'd fought stray dogs for food. It was much later when I finally took her in. Just when I thought Vivian's concerns were settled, she suddenly asked, "So, Master, how many others are there like Chloe?" Just when I thought Vivian's concerns were settled, she suddenly asked, "So, Master, how many others are there like Chloe?" A soundproof barrier sealed the room. A teleportation circle appeared beneath us. Madness filled Vivian's eyes as she tried to take me by force. I may pity Chloe, but I'll never share you with her. Master can only belong to me. Even if more awful women come, I'm not scared. As long as I'm here, no bad woman will devour you. Besides, claiming you for myself is fun. I'm not afraid of anyone. Listening to Vivian's crazed rambling, I broke into a helpless sweat. You two are already too much. I can't handle any more. Chloe was bloodthirsty, while Vivian could enchant anyone. And some of the later heroines were even more terrifying. If all 9 gathered, I might as well die. Chloe hadn't gone far. She was hiding in a dark cloud overhead. She sat helplessly among the clouds, hugging her knees. Her tear-streaked face rested against them. Chloe felt deeply wronged. Master actually spanked me. He used to give me all his love, but now he'd hit me for the first time. Master's light wasn't mine alone. That was what truly drove Chloe mad. In her heart, Master had always belonged to her. Inside that snow-buried hut, Chloe had been close to death. She thought that if she fell asleep, she would finally see her father again. Then one man's arrival changed her life forever. A gentle smile rested on his warm, handsome face. Chloe would never forget that moment. She always remembered his words. "Chloe, I'm blessed to have met you." Those words were branded into her heart. From then on, she lived with the man named Ethan Hayes. Her new life was better than anything she dared dream of. She could eat hot meals, not dusty scraps and rotten leaves. She no longer had to fight stray dogs for food, or fear being cursed and beaten. She no longer slept on a freezing floor, or feared never waking up. She had a warm bed and thick blankets. She no longer wore thin, tattered clothes. She had warm winter clothes. She'd never imagined having any of it. Ethan had brought all that light into her life, and pulled her from the depths of despair. Just when she thought she'd live with Master forever, tragedy struck. Master died in an accident. It devastated Chloe. She trained obsessively and eventually killed everyone. But when she tried to revive Master, She could no longer find him. Afterward, Chloe searched the countless worlds for any trace of Master. Perhaps persistence finally paid off, or perhaps fate had already bound her to Master. On this vast planet, she finally found him. Chloe lost herself in the joy of their reunion. She thought nothing could separate them this time. But after briefly leaving to evade the heavenly law, she returned to find another woman, acting intimately with Master. Then Master told her that Vivian had lived through a similar past and had basked in the same light from him. Chloe's heart shattered. She couldn't accept it. Master is mine. Master can only be mine. Chloe murmured helplessly. With Chloe's current power, killing another emperor wasn't impossible. She could also take Ethan away by force. But she didn't. No matter how powerful she became, she was still the little girl at Master's side. Besides, Master had called this her new home. That single word, home, became a chain, wrapped tightly around Chloe's heart. All she'd ever wanted was a real home with Master. After some time, Chloe finally ran out of tears, or perhaps she'd released all her pain. She slowly stood, resolve filling her black eyes. So what if there was one more? So what if Vivian had felt Master's light too? No one could take what belonged to Chloe. Just then, Chloe sensed someone approaching. She moved in an instant. Vivian stood in the air nearby. "Why are you here?" Chloe asked coldly. "I came to check on you, in case you did something foolish." "Do you really think I can't kill you?" Chloe thought Vivian had come to provoke her. Her eyes filled with cold killing intent. Terrifying black lightning erupted around her. She prepared to strike. "I heard your story, girl in the snow." Vivian paid no attention to the threat and stunned her with those words. Chloe's poised body jolted. Disbelief filled her eyes. Her voice trembled. "Master told you everything?" Vivian nodded. Chloe suddenly looked like a fish out of water. All strength drained from her. How could Master do this? How could he? Those memories belonged to her and Master. They were Chloe's most precious memories. Yet Master had shared them with the woman before her. In an instant, endless disappointment filled Chloe's heart. Icy killing intent erupted from her. Terrifying storm clouds rose like a massive black mountain and quickly covered the sky. Fearsome lightning flashed within the clouds. Devastating bolts crashed down. They echoed Chloe's murderous aura. Every bolt reflected her rage, carrying the power to destroy everything. "Do you want to hear my story?" Vivian showed no fear. She looked calmly at Chloe. Chloe froze. She slowly looked up at Vivian. Ignoring what Chloe might think, Vivian walked over to her and sat down beside her. Beneath the terrifying lightning, Vivian vividly began telling Chloe her story, but she left part of it out. She never mentioned Olivia Hart or her daughter. Chloe watched Vivian's profile shift between joy and sorrow. Both women became lost in the tale, with all its joy and pain. Chloe's killing intent slowly faded. She listened closely to every word. After some time, Vivian's story reached its end. Her alluring eyes slowly filled with tears. Those memories were just as precious to her. After hearing Chloe's story, she told Chloe how she and Ethan had first met and grown close. After hearing the whole story, Chloe fell into deep silence. "So what do you want?" Chloe didn't know what else to say. Vivian wiped away her tears and smiled. "So you want to make peace with me? Don't get ahead of yourself. We may become allies someday." Vivian smiled mysteriously, then left first. Chloe stood among the dark clouds, wondering what Vivian's final words had meant. "Master, I won't fight anymore. Please don't leave me." Chloe threw herself into my arms, eyes full of tears. I shook my head helplessly. Whatever they'd said to each other, I was happy as long as they stopped fighting. Seeing Chloe tearful in my arms, my heart softened. "As long as you're good, how could I ever abandon you? This is your home after all." Chloe nodded rapidly. Her arms tightened around my waist. I had a feeling Vivian had picked up all these tricks from Olivia Hart. "Master." When I came out, Chloe sweetly tried to cuddle up to me. But I pushed her away and said, "Both of you go to your own rooms." "No, I want to sleep with you." Chloe looked completely unwilling. "I want to sleep with Master too." Vivian smiled seductively and moved closer. Their distinct fragrances filled my nose at once. Unmoved, I repeated, "Go to your own rooms. Don't make me say it a third time." Without letting either of them reply, I shut and locked the door. If Vivian and Chloe both came in, who knew what they'd do to me tonight? I also realized that as long as they weren't fighting, they could keep each other in check. Chloe glared at Vivian. Vivian defiantly stared back. "You home-wrecking fox. Come with me." Then, Chloe vanished from the room. Vivian chuckled. and followed her. Amid the vast galaxy, two terrifying figures faced each other. They had both agreed not to fight in front of Ethan or make him angry, but that only applied when he was watching. Given their obsessive personalities, they could never keep the peace, and I could barely sense what happened out in space. Several devastating blasts collided at once. The endless galaxy became Vivian and Chloe's private battlefield. The battle between the two emperors didn't last long. Neither used her full power. They both wanted the other dead, but Ethan stood between them, so neither would go that far for now. After trading a few blows to vent their anger, they returned to their rooms. Soon it was well past midnight. I was already fast asleep, while both women tossed and turned next door. Each used to share Ethan's bed, but the other's arrival had cost them that privilege. After a while, Chloe grew too restless to bear it. She quietly got up, opened the door, and crept through the dark to Ethan's room. Just as she went in, a teasing voice stopped her. "What are you doing, brat?" The sudden voice startled Chloe. She turned and saw Vivian sitting on the couch. Her amused gaze made it clear she'd been waiting. "What are you doing here?" "Catching a thief." Vivian's eyes sparkled as she smiled. "I'm thirsty. Can't I get some water?" "What a childish lie. You came to Master's door for water?" "Humph. Mind your own business." Why wasn't this brat even trying to hide it? Vivian wouldn't sit back and let Chloe have Ethan to herself. Annoyed, she gritted her teeth and followed. Inside she found Chloe, clinging to Ethan like an octopus. Vivian's eye twitched at the sight. She immediately dove onto the bed. "You just don't know when to quit, do you?" 2 days passed in a flash. It was time to register at Vanguard University. "I'm going out. You two stay home. And don't wander off." I looked at the two women on the couch. Since coming to Earth, Chloe had become hooked on tearjerker romances, while Vivian binged short dramas on her phone. I had freshman registration at Vanguard University today, so I couldn't take them. Chloe looked away from the TV. "Where are you going, Master?" "I want to come. I'm registering at school." "Be good and wait here. You're playing favorites, Master." "Why won't you pat my head?" Vivian put down her phone and gave me a wounded look. Then she held her head out. I smiled helplessly and rubbed both their heads. "All right, both of you behave and stay home. If either of you follows me, I'll be angry." Chloe pouted but nodded. She didn't want to upset Master. "Don't worry, Master. I'll keep a close eye on Chloe," Vivian promised with a smile. But the glint in her eyes suggested other plans. Hearing Vivian single her out again, Chloe glared at her and quickly said, "Humph, I'm a good girl, Master. I won't go anywhere." Despite their promises, I still didn't trust them. I marked them both with my aura before leaving. "Chloe, are you sure you don't want to follow him?" After Ethan left, Vivian gave a cryptic smile. "I'm staying here and so are you." The vulnerability Chloe showed only around Ethan vanished instantly. It was replaced by a deadly chill. Her merciless eyes locked onto Vivian. "How boring. Aren't you worried another woman might approach him?" Vivian lounged against the couch, baring one pale shoulder. "I'll kill her, and someday I'll kill you too." Vivian lounged against the couch, baring one pale shoulder. "I'll kill her, and someday I'll kill you too." Chloe made no attempt to hide the killing intent in her icy voice. "Is killing all you ever think about? What if another woman gets close to Master? While you can't see him, how will you kill her?" Vivian ignored the killing intent filling the room, and kept talking. Chloe's dark red eyes flickered. "What are you getting at? Let's follow him. If we keep quiet, he'll never know. Besides, isn't secretly watching his every move exciting?" Chloe was already tempted, but remembering Ethan's warning, she shook her head. "You won't sway me. Besides, Master marked us. He'll know if we leave." Vivian seemed to be waiting for that. She smiled mysteriously. "That's no problem for me." Vivian smiled, and a dog-sized white fox appeared beside her. "Just attach a sliver of your consciousness to it. This fox can follow Master and share its sight with us. Then he won't detect us." "Well, are you in?" Chloe stared at the fox, torn. Moments later, she placed a sliver of consciousness inside it. Her vision instantly shifted to the fox. The fox happened to be facing between Vivian's legs. Chloe tilted its head up, and the view came into focus. Chloe's face instantly turned red. Vivian didn't notice her reaction. She sent in her own consciousness, and saw the same view. Vivian fell silent, then said, "Chloe, do you enjoy looking at me that much?" "Humph, I didn't do it on purpose." Chloe turned away and ignored the awful fox. But neither knew that, in a desolate world, two emperors withdrew their senses in disappointment. Master's presence isn't in this world either. Evelyn lowered her eyes, dejected. Then she looked at Selena. "Are you lying to me? We've searched over 100 worlds. Selena hovered in the air and sighed. She hadn't expected Ethan to be so hard to find. Then her eyes suddenly lit up. It's in a world near this one. That familiar presence is unmistakable. The planet was entirely blue. Ethan seemed to be there. He's on that planet. Selena beamed with joy. Selena beamed with joy. Are you sure? Evelyn could barely contain her excitement. The two women raced toward Earth. After leaving home, I hailed a cab. Rush hour traffic. Made the trip to Vanguard University take 40 minutes. The scene stunned me as soon as I got out. The entrance was packed with students and parents. Then a familiar Rolls-Royce stopped at the gate. Oliver Caldwell opened the door. Madison carefully peeked out and stepped from the car. She wore a long pink dress, radiant as a blooming flower. Her skirt fluttered like a fairy dancing in the breeze. Her pale skin glowed in the sunlight, shimmering softly like a pearl. She looked like a princess from a fairy tale, elegant and captivating. Everyone was mesmerized by her beauty. Madison ignored the admiring crowd. Her eyes searched through the people, and quickly found me. A sweet smile spread across her face. She lifted her skirt and ran toward me. She stopped right in front of me. Seeing my surprised expression, she raised her chin. Surprised to see me? Idiot? I sighed helplessly. Madison, are you following me now? Humph. None of your business. Come on. Why won't you leave me alone? Madison lowered her head. A moment later, she looked up with a smile. Because I like you. She blurted it out, then turned away. Her heart pounded wildly. A deep blush spread across her cheeks. This was her second confession to Ethan. The first had been while she was drunk. Now she'd confessed again at Vanguard University's gate. Walking through those gates today would mark a new beginning for them. Madison had decided to fight for him, and she wouldn't give up. No matter how she had to do it, she would boldly declare her love. Without giving Ethan a chance to answer, or caring how he reacted, she turned and ran. Watching Madison run off, I rubbed my face, utterly helpless. If those villainesses hadn't followed me, I might have given Madison a chance. But with them around, an ordinary girl like her was walking a tightrope. One wrong move could destroy her. Soon I reached an office on campus and received my Vanguard University ID badge. The badge granted access to any campus area. That wasn't explicitly restricted. My class was room 7 on the 3rd floor of the psionics building. I chose not to live on campus for one simple reason. I rubbed my forehead and thought, Vanguard University was only 20 minutes from home without traffic. More importantly, Vivian and Chloe were 2 ticking time bombs at home. That was the real reason I wouldn't stay on campus. After collecting their badges, the freshmen followed the signs to a plaza for orientation. Once everyone had gathered, a stern middle-aged man appeared before us. His sharp gaze swept the crowd. He cleared his throat and introduced himself. I'm Arthur Crane, the 9th president of Vanguard University. And the first president you'll study under. I studied him. His cultivation level was instantly clear. The university president was at early core formation. He had apparently broken through only recently, and his power hadn't stabilized yet. That got me thinking. He had probably used the energy Vivian and Chloe created to break through. When President Crane's passionate speech ended, the crowd burst into applause. President Crane clasped his hands behind his back and gave everyone a stern look. Seeing the excitement on their young faces, he nodded in approval and left. I'll show you around campus. Paige Bennett addressed the group. The student representatives normally used the remaining time to show freshmen around campus. Anyone who wanted to leave now could do so. Classes didn't officially begin until tomorrow. That was when these freshmen would truly enter the world of cultivation. Nearly everyone was excited for the future. No thanks. I'll look around on my own. I'll look around too. Madison immediately chimed in. Paige glanced between us and smiled. She knew exactly what Madison wanted. She led the others away, leaving us alone. I picked a direction and started walking. Despite the blazing sun, the students around me all wore excited smiles. Madison followed right behind me. Nothing interested her except Ethan. As she watched his back, who knew what was running through her mind? Every so often, she gave a silly smile. Madison wanted only one thing. As long as Ethan didn't truly hate her, her heart was content. Of course I knew she was trailing me, but I couldn't be bothered to stop her. Then I sensed someone watching me. I glanced sideways and saw 3 girls whispering about me. I think he noticed us. So what if he did? Hey, wanna make another bet? If I get that cute guy's number, you cover my meals today and tomorrow. If I fail, I'll cover yours. Again? Brooke, you're just trying to fleece us. The dark-haired girl protested. They used to love making these bets, until they realized Brooke always won. Brooke was the prettiest of the 3. Combined with her alluring uniform, she could make any young guy lose his mind. My gut says Brooke will fail this time. Trust me, Sadie. Erica, are you in on this with Brooke? Are you two setting me up? Sadie rolled her eyes but replied, fine, I'll trust you one last time. Once they agreed, Brooke smiled triumphantly. Get ready to buy me dinner. Brooke composed herself and walked toward Ethan. Winning over an innocent freshman would be easy for her. She mistook Ethan for a naive new college kid. When Brooke saw Ethan looking at her, she showed no embarrassment. She pushed out her chest and confidently approached. Her long legs beneath the uniform skirt looked striking in the sunlight. Countless eyes turned toward her. Before Brooke even spoke, she imagined Ethan blushing and stumbling over his words. Hi there, are you a freshman? Then you probably don't know the campus yet. I could show you around if you'd like. Brooke spoke in an exaggeratedly sweet voice. She was certain Ethan would agree. She'd show him around for a few minutes, casually probe his family background, then claim she had to leave and ask for his number. His background would determine whether she kept it. If he was poor and ugly, she'd delete him. If he was poor but handsome, he'd go in her backup tier, good for flirting and eye candy. If he was rich but ugly, he'd go in her middle tier. She'd flirt with him occasionally, keeping him hooked so he'd buy her cultivation resources. Only a guy who was both rich and handsome would enter her top tier. Those were the men Brooke actively pursued. She'd play hard to get until they took the bait. Brooke figured Ethan belonged in her backup tier. He had a handsome face, but everything he wore looked cheap. He didn't even have any decent jewelry. Sorry, I'm fine on my own. I politely declined. Brooke froze for a moment. No one had ever rejected her before. It's fine. I'm bored anyway. Let me show you around. She stepped closer to Ethan. But my next move made her eyes widen. I stepped back and fanned the air by my nose. Brooke's face darkened. What's your problem? Do I smell bad or something? Sorry, I'm just not used to perfume. I explained with a frown. That only embarrassed and angered Brooke more. It sounded like I was calling her perfume cheap. Brooke pursed her lips and forced out a few tears. How could you treat me like this? I was only trying to show you around. Her words immediately drew a crowd. Seeing a pretty girl look so hurt, everyone rushed to defend her and condemn Ethan. What's wrong? Did this guy bully you? You're a grown man. Why bully a girl? Can't you cut her some slack? Brooke said nothing and pressed her lips together. She gave Ethan a wounded look that only encouraged the guys, eager to play hero to lash out at Ethan. With her goal achieved, Brooke lowered her head. A sly glint flashed in her eyes. Rejecting her had consequences. First, she'd use her delicate looks and free-flowing tears to stir every young guy's urge to play hero. Then they'd condemn Ethan for her. When you see a pretty girl tearfully confronting a guy, you naturally blame the guy first. Brooke could already picture Ethan panicking and apologizing, exactly as she'd planned. Humph, that's what he gets for rejecting me. The trick was old, but it worked. I dropped my smile amid the barrage of insults and quietly said, kinda interesting, barely. Suddenly, I felt my days at Vanguard University might not be as peaceful as I'd hoped. Brooke, what happened? Did he bully you? Sadie ran over to comfort Brooke, who was crouched on the ground. Brooke shook her head, looking utterly helpless. Apologize to my friend right now. Sadie stood with her hands on her hips. Erica suspected there was more to the story, but Brooke was her friend, so she took her side. The crowd kept growing. I stayed put and watched Brooke perform. What's wrong with you? Apologize to her. Are freshmen always this rude? Blake Dawson, who was showing freshmen around, was also drawn over by the commotion. When he saw the guy surrounded by angry students, he thought he looked familiar. Then he remembered. Wasn't this the freshman he tried to take from Paige, Ethan Hayes? Blake rarely lost to guys his age, so Ethan's name had stuck with him. Then he saw Brooke crouching nearby, and quickly figured out what had happened. He watched Ethan with a cold smirk, curious how he'd handle it. Blake knew Brooke was a manipulative fake. She used her looks to keep a roster of guys on the hook. She was a notorious player at Vanguard University. Nearly everyone defending her was a freshman. The upperclassmen knew exactly what she was like. Brooke had clearly failed to win Ethan over, so she turned the crowd against him. Blake found the tactic pathetic. Just then, a girl emerged from the back of the crowd. The guys' eyes lit up when they saw her, and they instinctively cleared a path. Blake's expression shifted when he recognized her. It was Madison Sterling, who had scolded him before. Seeing her approach Brooke, Blake smirked again. Brooke froze when the shouting suddenly stopped. A shadow fell over her. Then an icy voice sounded above her. Having fun? Brooke looked up and saw a stunning girl before her. Yet the girl's presence felt icy even beneath the blazing sun. Brooke had always considered herself beautiful, but when she saw Madison's face, She was briefly mesmerized. She couldn't find words to describe Madison. Madison was like a bright moon in the sky, pure and cold. A freshman. Under Madison's commanding presence, Brooke began to stammer. I asked if this is fun. Madison spoke with an icy gaze. How can you say that to me? Brooke realized she couldn't back down. She stood to confront Madison. Smack. The instant Brooke finished speaking. You hit me? Brooke stared in disbelief. Madison uttered one word. Get lost. The words carried endless cold. You hit me. I'm reporting you. I'll get you disciplined and expelled. Just wait. Brooke shouted. I'm a Sterling. Madison calmly answered Brooke's threat. So what if you're a Sterling? Think that makes you special? Brooke still didn't understand and kept yelling. Sadie suddenly realized something. She pulled Brooke back and whispered, she may be one of the Sterlings. Plenty of people in Havensport share that last name, but anyone who says it that confidently is probably from the Sterling family, one of the 4 founding families. Brooke instantly fell silent. Her shock turned to anger, then fear. He's my boyfriend. Bother him again, and I'll skin you alive. Now get out of my sight. Ignoring Brooke's expression, Madison warned her coldly. Brooke seethed but had nowhere to vent. Under the crowd's strange looks, she left in humiliation as her friends pulled her away. The whole farce ended just like that. As the crowd dispersed, I stared at Madison in surprise. Felt like I was seeing her for the first time. Why are you staring, idiot? Madison rose onto her toes and skipped over to me playfully. She looked adorable. She was nothing like the icy girl from moments ago. Why'd you call me your boyfriend? I can't handle jokes like that. I was secretly relieved Vivian and Chloe hadn't heard her. They would have lost their minds. Humph, you're so ungrateful. I just bailed you out. Madison didn't get angry at my response. She gave a dainty huff. I smiled helplessly and said nothing. Hey, where'd this fox come from? Wow, it's gorgeous. Its fur is pure white. A commotion rose from another crowd nearby. My smile instantly froze. One word caught my attention. Fox. That was the last word I wanted to hear. My first thought was Vivian. I immediately checked with my divine sense. The marks I'd left on Vivian and Chloe were still intact and hadn't moved. I instinctively relaxed. Then something felt off. Why would there be a fox at Vanguard University? I decided to check for myself and see if Vivian had secretly followed me. Hey, idiot, where are you going now? Madison followed when she saw me leave. Get your phone. This fox is gorgeous. Where'd it come from? Is it wild? Have you noticed it isn't scared of people? It isn't even moving. The others realized she was right. The little fox simply sat there without moving or running. Unknown to them, 2 voices were arguing inside its head. Seriously? We had a perfect view from the sky, but you had to come down. Now we've been spotted. Vivian said in exasperation. Both women had attached their consciousness to the little fox. They'd been watching Ethan's every move from the sky. But what just happened had set off the Chloe time bomb. She seized control and came down to kill Brooke. Vivian had barely managed to stop her. I'm killing that woman. Chloe replied coldly. Chloe, use your head. If you charge down there and kill her, Master will definitely catch us. Vivian sounded exasperated. After a pause, Chloe asked, then what do we do? Knowing she was at fault, Chloe stopped arguing. She muttered softly, let's see if we can get away with this first. Just then, a pair of hands crept up behind the fox and scooped it into an embrace. Vivian had been too busy arguing with Chloe to notice. She looked back and saw a young woman gazing at her adoringly. Vivian didn't rush to escape. This might help her hide from Master. But the next moment, Vivian felt a familiar gaze on her back. She stiffly turned and met my blank stare. I felt completely exhausted. One glance told me it was Vivian. She met my blank stare. I felt completely exhausted. One glance told me it was Vivian. I knew Vivian's presence all too well. The little fox looked exactly as she had when I first met her in Argentwild. At the same time, I was shocked to discover Vivian wasn't the only one inside the fox. Chloe was in there too. These 2 had actually teamed up to secretly follow me. Then again, it wasn't surprising. Neither of them could ever behave and stay put. Seeing the fox's lively eyes dart away, I almost laughed. I walked over with a blank face and told the girl, hi, that's my fox. The girl froze. She recognized me as the guy who'd just had that argument with Brooke. Disgust flashed in her eyes as she stepped back with the fox. How can you prove it's yours? It's been here a while and no one's come looking. If it had an owner, why would it be wandering alone? It doesn't even have a tag. The girl wanted to take the fox home. A cute little fox like this could draw plenty of views in short videos. You can't just claim it's yours. Where's your proof? Idiot, you own a fox? Madison softly asked, poking my arm. She didn't doubt Ethan. In Madison's mind, Ethan wouldn't lie over a fox. Vivian, come here. Seeing their disbelief, I called out to Vivian. But the little fox didn't come over. Instead, it turned its head away. The crowd burst into laughter. Give it up, man. If it's not yours, stop pretending. Seeing everyone mock me again, Madison tried to defend me, but I stopped her. Vivian, come here. The words were the same, but my tone wasn't. Even the fox ignores you. Stop embarrassing yourself. The fox glanced at the girl holding it. A sudden chill swept over her. Despite the blazing sun, she shivered. Her face turned pale. In the fox's eyes, she seemed to see something terrifying. She shivered, her face turning pale. In the fox's eyes, she seemed to see something terrifying. What happened next silenced everyone. The little fox wriggled free of the girl's arms and trotted to my feet, wagging its white tail, pawed at my pant leg, as if apologizing. I found it amusing. I crouched and picked it up. Vivian curled up contentedly in my arms and kept licking my face with her pink tongue. Vivian covered my face in drool. Helpless, I held her still against my chest. She acted completely different than she had with that girl. Holding Vivian, I said nothing more and walked away. Idiot, when did you get a white fox? Can I hold it? I gave her a strange look. Madison's bold request startled me. Why are you staring? Is there something on my face? Shy. It doesn't let strangers hold it. Liar. That girl was just holding it. Madison puffed out her cheeks. Few girls could resist such an adorable fox. I laughed inside. Vivian had only let that girl hold her to avoid suspicion. Unless she allowed it, no one could get near her. I ignored the sulking Madison and headed toward the gate. Then my palm suddenly began to tickle. It also felt wet. I looked down and found Vivian misbehaving again. Her pink tongue gently licked my palm. When I looked at her, her eyes curved into crescents. Her little ears twitched. I smiled and gently stroked her head. Whatever else, foxes felt amazing to pet. She was soft and plump, with silky white fur. Humph. Stupid, selfish idiot. Madison followed behind me, complaining nonstop. She didn't stop until we left campus. She looked at the Rolls-Royce waiting nearby, reluctance filling her face. Seeing me waiting at the bus stop, Madison gathered her courage and approached. She gently tugged my sleeve. What now, Miss Sterling? Aren't you going home? Want to come over for a while? I want to talk to you. Madison felt she'd spent too little time with me today. She still had so much to say. They'd see each other at school tomorrow. But she wanted somewhere private to talk with me. She'd never invited a guy home before. I seemed to be the reason behind all her firsts. The first time she went to Ethan's home, hoping for a date. The first time she organized a reunion just to see him. The first time she invited a guy home, just to talk with him a little longer. Everything Madison did was only to see Ethan more and share a few more words. I'm not going. I gave her a surprised look. Then I turned her down with 3 simple words. Vivian poked her little head out from my arms and glanced at Madison. Her bright eyes shifted, clearly plotting something. Madison had expected me to say no, but hearing me say, I'm not going, still filled her with disappointment. What, afraid I'll eat you? If you've got nothing else to do, just go home. The fox in my arms held both Vivian and Chloe. I was basically holding 2 ticking time bombs. Taking them to Madison's house would make them explode. Then be careful on your way home. Reluctantly, Madison started walking toward the Rolls-Royce with its door open. Just then, a white blur shot past her and leaped onto the seat. Madison froze, then instinctively looked back at me. I was just as stunned. Hey, idiot, you won't come, but apparently she will. Madison got into the back and left a seat open beside her. I looked at my empty arms, then at Vivian in the car. A bad feeling hit me. Hey, quit staring and get in, Madison called with a smile. I had no idea what Vivian was planning, but it couldn't be good. I couldn't leave her alone. Scowling, I slowly climbed into the back. The moment I got in, I smelled a lovely hint of jasmine. It was nothing like Brooke's overpowering perfume. Vivian, Chloe, what are you 2 doing? I demanded telepathically. Master, this wasn't my idea. Chloe had wanted to kill Madison before. She wanted nothing to do with any woman and refused to let any woman near me. But Vivian had final control of the fox. A sliver of Chloe's consciousness was attached to it. She could leave at any time, but she wouldn't leave Madison alone with Master. I suddenly find this mortal rather interesting. Vivian's playful voice rang out. Vivian, enough. Relax, Master. I'm not as bloodthirsty as someone else. I have no desire to kill a mere mortal. Vivian knew what worried me and reassured me telepathically. Anyone who approaches Master deserves to die. Chloe's voice was icy. I rubbed my forehead helplessly. For now, this would have to do. I'd deal with it when we arrived. Let's go, Mr. Caldwell. The car slowly pulled away from Vanguard University. 30 minutes later, the Rolls-Royce stopped in Westbridge Heights, outside a lavish mansion. The moment I got out, I couldn't help thinking, rich people really lived extravagantly. Priceless treasures filled Madison's home. Madison led me to her room. Ethan, I like you. I want to be your girlfriend. When I turned to leave, Madison threw caution aside and blocked me with both arms. Then she did something no one expected. Madison buried herself in my arms. My face stiffened. I froze. Felt like time itself had stopped. A sudden, deadly chill filled the room. Felt like a frozen hell had descended. Bone-chilling cold swept through like a raging tide. Madison shivered. Why did it suddenly get so cold? She wondered, instinctively pressing herself deeper into Ethan's warm arms. My pupils widened in shock. I swallowed and acted without hesitation. I instantly unleashed my power and suppressed both consciousnesses inside the fox. I wasn't as powerful as Vivian or Chloe, but they were only slivers of consciousness right now. I could still hold them down briefly. A storm erupted inside the fox's mind. How dare she? I'll kill her. She touched Master. Kill her. I'll tear her limb from limb. Chloe's voice was crazed with killing intent. Even Vivian, who had found Madison amusing, released a terrifying demonic aura. If I hadn't suppressed them in time, Madison would have already been torn apart. We're not right for each other. I don't like you. I gently refused. At once, I felt the girl in my arms tremble slightly. Ethan, you idiot. Don't you understand? That night, you were a light in the sky. You pierced the darkness and saved me. From that moment, your light took root in my heart and kept growing. I'm not as cold as I seem. I'm actually very simple. My days were empty. I wanted nothing. But when you appeared, it felt like you were telling me I'd finally found something worth pursuing. All I want is you. Madison held me tight and pressed her head to my warm chest. She listened to my heartbeat as she confessed her love. She rested her head against my warm chest, listening to my heartbeat as she spoke from the heart. Her awakening heart was like a budding flower, swaying gently in the breeze, shyly waiting to bloom. I looked down at Madison. Complicated emotions filled my eyes. At that moment, I finally understood. I'd underestimated how much I meant to Madison. I'd also underestimated her determination. From the start, I knew I couldn't get too involved with Madison. The closer we became, the more danger she'd face. I'd already said plenty of hurtful things, but none of them had made a difference. Maybe I'd assumed Madison's feelings were only a passing crush. Once the excitement faded, she'd simply move on. But I was wrong. Madison still didn't realize. She already had one foot in a dark abyss. But it wasn't too late. This time, I had to crush her feelings for good. I gently pulled Madison's arms away and held her trembling shoulders. Madison, I truly don't like you. We live in different worlds. We could never be together. I only saved you that night because we were classmates. Madison's beautiful eyes instantly reddened, tears shimmering within them. Maybe that night meant nothing to you, but to me, you gave me a second life. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't been there. Even if my body survived, I think my heart would have died. You gave me another chance at life. Ethan, you idiot. I really love you. Feel my heart. It can't lie. Madison grabbed my hand and tried to press it to her chest, to prove her racing heart was real. But the next second, I coldly shoved her to the floor. Madison saw the deep disgust in my eyes, and her heart shattered. Madison, you're incredibly annoying. You know that? I hate self-centered little girls like you most. Why assume your crush has to love you back? What you're doing is childish, foolish, and pathetic. I looked down at her, making no effort to hide my disgust. No, that's not true. Tears blurred Madison's face as she murmured. Those few words pierced her fragile heart like countless blades. It hurt. Nothing had ever hurt this much. Never speak to me again, or I'll kill you. You've seen what I can do. If I want you dead, no one in this world can save you. Without another glance at Madison, I opened the door and walked away. I'm not like that. I'm not childish. All strength left Madison's body. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing loudly. She wasn't childish or pathetic like I'd claimed. She was simply pursuing the person she loved. The moment she decided to fight for him, Madison had prepared herself for rejection. Perhaps after enough rejections, she would have eventually stopped chasing Ethan. But this was only the beginning. It was Madison's first sincere confession. She never expected me to reject her so cruelly. The disgust in my eyes carved into her heart like a knife. Loving someone wasn't wrong. Pursuing that love wasn't wrong either. Ethan wasn't wrong. Their only mistake was ever crossing paths. The Madison who fell for him that night had died. After some time, Madison slowly fell silent. Her once bright eyes became dull and lifeless. Her endless tears soaked the carpet. Her breathing grew faint, as if she were suffocating. Then someone violently kicked the door open. A figure rushed inside. It was Victor Sterling. "Madison, are you okay?" "Where's that kid?" The door was violently kicked open. A figure rushed inside. It was Victor Sterling. "Madison, are you okay?" "Where's that kid? Where did he go?" Victor helped Madison up, his eyes filled with pain. While in a company meeting, he'd gotten a call from the housekeeper. She said Madison had locked herself in her room and wouldn't stop crying. Madison looked like a flower about to wither, fragile enough for a breeze to scatter. Victor's rage erupted like a volcano. He hadn't been this angry in years. He had always treated his precious daughter like glass, cherishing and protecting her completely. Now some punk had hurt her this badly. "Sweetheart, leave this to Dad. I'll make that kid pay dearly." Victor's eyes darkened. He no longer cared whether Ethan had a core formation expert backing him. Even if he did, Victor no longer wanted that connection. Anyone who treated his daughter this way would pay the price. That was his duty as her father. "No. Don't hurt him. After what that kid did to you, you're still protecting him? I don't like him anymore. Dad, leave him alone. I promise I'll never love him again. I can promise not to touch him. But you must promise me something too. You can never contact him again." Madison's eyes were dull. As she replied weakly, "Promise. I'll never contact him again." Once Victor knew Madison would stay away from Ethan, he finally suppressed his anger. Later, Madison dragged her exhausted body around and removed every reminder of Ethan. She even burned the doll bearing his name. The flames reflected in Madison's eyes. It wasn't only a doll burning. Her feelings burned with it, slowly dying in the flames. She kept watching until the fire went out. At that moment, Madison's love for Ethan turned to ash in the flames. Madison's love for Ethan turned to ash in the flames. The light he'd left in her heart also vanished when the flames died. Damn. I looked up at the sky and sighed inside. I had to say those things. The crueler, the better, because I'd felt the consciousnesses inside the fox nearly break free of my control. Everything I did was to prevent a bloodbath. Deep down, I didn't hate Madison at all. She was only an innocent young woman. Without the 9 heroines or the reincarnations, faced with a sweet girl like her, I would have fallen for her like anyone else. But with the 9 heroines around, Madison and I could never become involved. "I want to kill her. Master, please let me." Chloe's consciousness radiated intense killing intent. That intimate touch was an unforgivable provocation to Chloe. Ethan was hers alone, her deepest taboo. No one could touch him, much less hold him intimately. Even if Vivian did something like that, Chloe would break their truce and fight her to the death. Madison was only a mortal. "Enough," Ethan replied calmly through telepathy. "Master, I want to kill her too." After a long silence, Vivian spoke with murderous intent. Both women wanted Ethan for themselves and constantly fought over him. But they were ultimately alike. Madison was only a mortal, yet her actions had enraged them both. "Enough. There's nothing between her and me. There never was and there never will be. Neither of you cause me any trouble." I reassured them. I had to calm them down. Otherwise, Madison was truly in danger. Even if we'd never meet again, I didn't want her hurt because of me. Chloe and Vivian seemed to sense my sincerity, so neither said anything more. As I waited at a crosswalk, I caught sight of a familiar figure across the street. It was the classmate I'd once saved at Briarwood House, the sweet, naive Lily Harper. Lily was supporting a middle-aged woman. One look showed the woman was unwell. I hadn't expected to see Lily here, but I only glanced at her before looking away. The light turned green, and I crossed the street. Lily seemed to notice me too. A strange look entered her eyes. She said something to the woman, then headed toward me. Then she walked toward me. "Ethan, please wait." Her urgent voice rang out behind me. I pretended not to hear and quickened my pace. I kept walking faster, and soon vanished into the crowd. Lily was disappointed, but she couldn't stray far from her mother, so she turned back. As Lily turned, she bumped into a burly man. "Watch where you're going, sweetheart." I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." Travis Boone noticed Lily's pretty face, and greed flashed in his eyes. You hurt me, sweetheart. You'll have to make it up to me. Travis refused to let it go. I'm sorry. I really am. But I don't have any money. Please forgive me. Lily kept bowing and apologizing. Tell you what, sweetheart. Forget the money. Have a drink with me and we're even. Travis grinned and stepped toward her. Then he boldly reached out to grab Lily's slender arm. Lily's face instantly went pale. Like a frightened bunny, she kept backing away. No, please, just forgive me. Lily's lips trembled. But her vulnerability only made her more tempting to Travis. Ignoring her pleas, he reached for her. Passersby glanced over, but no one wanted to get involved. As his large hand closed in, Lily shut her eyes in fear. Whoosh! Something tore through the air. Ah! Travis let out a piercing scream. Lily opened her eyes and saw the muscular man, writhing and wailing on the ground. His twisted face terrified her. Lily looked around but saw nothing. More people began stopping to stare at Travis. Lily seized the chance to run back to her mother. Sweetheart, what happened? Didn't you say you saw your classmate? It's nothing. He left. Mom, let's go too. Lily calmed herself and replayed what had happened. She couldn't shake the feeling that she'd experienced this somewhere before and met someone there. She'd experienced this somewhere before and met someone there. Lily remembered asking Ethan about it once, but he'd said they'd never met. Then why did he feel so familiar? Seeing Ethan just now, followed by that strange incident, made everything seem connected to him. But no matter how hard Lily tried, she couldn't remember. The familiarity was overwhelming, yet an invisible barrier blocked her. If she could only break through it, the fog would finally clear and reveal where that feeling came from. I didn't truly leave until I knew Lily was safe. I was the one who'd struck Travis. Master, who's she? An old classmate. There's nothing between us. Chloe quietly said. Oh. But she had a feeling. Master was hiding something from her. Vivian wisely asked no more. But she sensed this girl was different. From Madison Sterling. I hailed a cab and soon returned home. Both women's consciousnesses returned to their bodies. I sat across from them with a blank expression. Vivian, Chloe, I told you to stay home. Neither of you listens at all. Master, I behaved. It wasn't my idea. Oh please, you were there too, brat. Enough. Stop arguing. Today was exhausting. I just want some rest. Master, I have a question. Please tell me the truth. What is it? I wouldn't lie to you. Chloe met my gaze and quietly asked. I want to know whether you did that with her behind my back. My face stiffened again. An icy current swept through the room. Vivian looked over from the couch, mischief in her eyes. She was clearly plotting something. An icy current swept through the room. Vivian looked over from the couch, mischief in her eyes. She was clearly plotting something. Of course not. I didn't do anything. I hid my nerves, smiled, and stroked Chloe's head. Please don't lie to me, Master. I'm not lying. My Chloe is such a good girl. If you did it with her, then I want to as well. I want to have your baby too, Master. Chloe threw herself into my arms and cooed. Her words startled me, and I quickly said, stop imagining things. I'm going to my room. Both of you behave. I quickly fled. I couldn't stay another second. But I'd made a mistake. Once I went to my room, Chloe and Vivian were left alone. Are you carrying Master's baby? Chloe stared coldly at Vivian. Vivian froze at the question, then collapsed into laughter. In Chloe's mind, doing that always led to a baby. What do you think? Vivian replied with a seductive gleam in her eyes. If it's true, I'll kill you. Lightning churned in Chloe's black eyes, her voice terrifyingly cold. If Vivian had really done that with Master behind her back, Chloe would use everything she had to kill her. I'd love to have some fun with Master, but sadly, it's not true. Vivian didn't want another fight, so she lied. Far across the galaxy, a young woman raced toward Earth at incredible speed. Her face looked like a masterfully carved work of art, radiating irresistible charm. Her beauty could bring nations to ruin, with a natural hint of seduction, like a night rose blooming in darkness. Master, are you here? Ivy misses you so much. Ivy stopped above Earth, strange emotions swirling in her beautiful eyes. It was a forbidden love blending family devotion with romance. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the window and gently touched my face. My features stood out in the soft light. My sharp features looked calm and resolute. My eyes remained closed as I slept. As the room grew brighter, my lashes fluttered, and I slowly opened my eyes. For once, I woke up without either woman lying on me. I washed up and made breakfast for them. Then I got ready to leave for Vanguard University. Before leaving, I sternly warned them again, not to follow me or spy on me. Under my stern gaze, they reluctantly nodded. Then I realized that keeping them confined at home wasn't right either. Instead of worrying about these 2 ticking bombs following me, I could give them a little freedom. Seeing their unhappy faces, I smiled helplessly and said gently, "If you're bored, you can go out. But I have a few rules. First, don't cause trouble. Second, don't draw too much attention. Third, stay close." Chloe's and Vivian's eyes immediately lit up. I gave them some money to buy whatever they liked. Chloe's face brightened with joy. She remembered how Master used to do the same. Whenever he left for school, he'd give her a few coins to buy pastries. Vivian was no different. Nostalgia filled her alluring eyes. For a moment, time seemed to rewind. To that summer evening. She'd boldly tried to help Master relax, but he scolded her and tore up the book. It was the first time Master had ever gotten angry with her. I watched one woman grin to herself, while the other was lost in thought. My gaze softened, and I smiled. "Remember, you have to pay for things." After that final reminder, I left under their watchful eyes. Outside the neighborhood, I looked up. In the sunlight, the air resembled a thin veil, covering the world as golden rays streamed through it, giving it a warm, vibrant glow. Every tiny particle seemed to dance, shimmering with life. It was spiritual energy. I could clearly feel Earth's spiritual energy growing denser by the day. Even the heavenly law's hold on my nascent soul power had begun to loosen. My highest level across the 9 lives had been the Ascendant Realm. Earth's rapid spiritual growth should have been good news, yet I felt strangely uneasy. I brushed it off and waited for the bus. After paying, I took a window seat. I stared outside, lost in thought. Ding! My phone pulled me back to reality. I checked it and found a friend request. It was from Lily, the girl I'd seen yesterday. I was about to decline, but her note said it was important. After a brief hesitation, I accepted. "Hi, Ethan." Lily's message arrived the instant I accepted. "Hi, Lily. What's up? I think I saw you yesterday. I kept calling you, but you ignored me." In her small room, Lily nervously gripped her phone, staring unblinkingly at the glowing screen. "Really? I must not have heard you." I pretended not to know. Lily blinked at the message. She remembered shouting pretty loudly, and Ethan hadn't been far away. Yet, after only a few steps, he'd vanished into the crowd. Still, since he said so, the trusting Lily believed him. Before she could continue, my next message arrived. "Is there anything else, Lily?" Lily immediately grew nervous. Her fingers fumbled across the screen. She typed, deleted, then typed again. On my end, the screen kept showing that she was typing. I waited patiently. A few seconds later, her message appeared. "Ethan, can you meet me tonight? Please don't misunderstand. I just need to tell you something." After sending it, Lily locked her phone and turned the volume all the way up. Felt like she'd just asked a boy on a date. But that wasn't it. Seeing me again yesterday had intensified that strange feeling. But that wasn't it. Seeing me again yesterday had intensified that strange feeling. She was certain she'd seen Ethan somewhere before, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't remember. An invisible barrier blocked the memory. That was why she'd sent the message. She thought meeting Ethan alone might help her remember. Ding! Her phone chimed. Lily carefully opened it and slowly peeked at Ethan's reply. She was terrified of being rejected. But when she read it, disappointment overwhelmed her. "Just tell me here. I'm busy." Her hopes shattered. "Tomorrow works too. Or the day after. I'll wait for you every day at Reed's barbecue. Please, Ethan." Lily pressed her lips together. I locked my phone and said nothing more. Lily and I lived near each other. Reed's barbecue was well known in the old quarter. I passed it whenever I went out. In my old life before the mighty dump truck God chose me, I often ate at Reed's barbecue. I rejected Lily's invitation without a second thought. Lily had already given me a strange feeling before. I'd hidden the truth from her, yet she still sensed something familiar. Whether it was coincidence or something else, I didn't know. Either way, avoiding her was best. Human nature was often like that. When you desperately seek an answer, only to hit a barrier just before reaching it, your need to know only grows stronger. Half an hour later, the bus stopped. Beside Vanguard University, students still crowded the university entrance. As I got off, a Rolls-Royce pulled in behind the bus. The door opened, and Madison stepped out. Madison seemed to notice me, but her face remained blank, and she didn't look my way. She headed onto campus. Ahead of her, Mason Parker appeared from nowhere. With a warm smile, he said something to Madison. Madison gave a slight nod and walked onto campus with him. The sight drew countless stares. One was the charming heir to the Parkers. The other was the Sterling's cherished daughter. The Parker heir and the Sterling's cherished daughter looked like a perfect match. Before leaving, Mason shot me a challenging look. I smiled back, completely unfazed. Then Oliver Caldwell stepped from the car. and walked straight up to me. I'm warning you, stay away from Ms. Sterling. No matter who's backing you, you'll pay dearly if you approach her again. Oliver warned me coldly, but I remained unfazed. Instead, I smiled with delight. Really? That's fantastic. You're wonderful people. Please keep Madison under control. Make sure she never bothers me physically or emotionally again. Oliver froze. This wasn't the reaction he'd expected. Shouldn't the kid look defiant or terrified? Why did he look so damn thrilled? Oliver felt as if the kid might kneel and thank him. Had Miss Sterling really been harassing him? What nonsense are you talking about? How could Ms. Sterling possibly bother you? I'm only thinking of my own safety. Thanks for your help. With that, I turned and left, leaving Oliver standing there, completely baffled. Oliver's face darkened, but after thinking it over, he realized the kid might have a point. Staying away from Madison really was safer for him. Oliver was speechless. Then he called Victor Sterling. What did the kid say? Victor's commanding voice came through the phone. Oliver swallowed and hesitated, then repeated my words exactly. Victor fell silent. The next second, Oliver heard him slam the desk. Oliver's eyelid twitched as he cautiously said, "Sir, I don't think the kid was lying. Are you saying my precious daughter has been chasing after that kid?" Victor demanded. Oliver was too frightened to answer. Victor didn't press him, and hung up. In his office, Victor gave a quiet laugh. You'd better keep your word. He had already seen from Madison's expression that his precious daughter loved Ethan Hayes. Victor had assumed Ethan felt the same way. But apparently he'd been wrong. Victor no longer cared what had happened. He only knew he would never let his precious daughter cry over the same man twice. Not long after entering Vanguard University, a beautiful figure blocked my path. It was Paige Bennett. Paige gave me a strange look and studied me from head to toe. "Paige, did you need something?" I asked calmly. "Did you and Madison have a fight?" "No. Don't lie to me. I just saw her walking with Mason. She wanted nothing to do with him 2 days ago. And when I asked why you weren't with her, Madison acted completely indifferent. Look, Paige, I think you misunderstood. There's nothing between Madison and me. I don't know what happened between you two. Can't you see how much she likes you? She even transferred here because of you." I patiently let her finish, then said, "Does liking someone mean they have to like you back? Love can't be one-sided. Both people have to feel it." Paige couldn't argue with that. My meaning was clear. I didn't like Madison, and we had nothing between us. Paige believed me. She'd sensed it during freshman registration. But she likes you, and Mason's bad news. Nothing good will come from Madison staying around him. Paige knew Mason was nothing but a player who used women. She didn't want a girl like Madison falling into Mason's trap. But my next answer sent a chill through Paige. Why should I care what happens to her? I said it casually and walked past Paige, toward the psionics building. Paige stood there watching Ethan walk away. He suddenly seemed incredibly cold. I soon entered room 7 on the 3rd floor of the psionics building. Quite a few students were already seated. I found an open seat. More students gradually arrived. But there were only about 50 in total. "Is the seat taken?" Pale-skinned, slender guy stood before me and asked. I shook my head. "Hey, I'm Noah Foster." "Hi, Ethan Hayes," I replied politely. "Why'd you choose this school?" "Fewer people." Noah hadn't expected that answer. I wish I could choose freely. My family forced me into this. I really wanted the School of Sword Arts. I glanced at him but thought nothing of it. We made small talk for a while. Before long, a tall woman in a suit entered, her heels clicking across the floor. She instantly caught the attention of nearly every guy in class. She wore a tailored suit with a fitted skirt that highlighted her slim waist and curves. The skirt ended just above her knees. Black stockings covered her long legs. Her heels made her look even taller. She swept her elegant gaze across the class, then gave a professional smile. "Hello, everyone. I'll be your homeroom instructor. My name is Victoria Whitmore. Now let's introduce ourselves one at a time." Victoria's voice was heavenly, clear, warm, and melodic, carried a unique charm that seemed to reach straight into the heart. Her gentle tone warmed everyone like a spring breeze. Suddenly, I know I chose the right school. Noah tugged my shirt and whispered. His glowing eyes were practically glued to Victoria's shapely figure. I smiled faintly. I instantly saw through Victoria's aura. She was at mid-spirit silence. The once quiet room 7 erupted after Victoria finished speaking. Students stood and introduced themselves. The guys were especially enthusiastic, hoping to impress Victoria. Soon it was my turn. I kept it brief and only gave my name, It was the opposite of everyone else's long speeches. Victoria gave me one extra glance, but nothing more. Victoria spent the rest of class explaining the origins of psionic power. Before I knew it, evening arrived. I said goodbye to Noah and took the bus home. As we passed Reed's barbecue, I found myself looking over. Lily sat quietly on a bench outside, seemingly cut off from the world. Her small, fragile figure carried a quiet loneliness. Her distant eyes seemed lost in thought, or perhaps simply fixed on the horizon. I gently opened the front door, its hinges creaking. A delicate fragrance brushed my face like a soft breeze. I looked up and saw two stunning women, like goddesses stepping from a dream. I froze, staring in shock at Vivian and Chloe. Their outfits were nothing like what they normally wore. Vivian wore an exquisite fitted silk dress. The fine fabric hugged her like a second skin, perfectly outlining her graceful curves. Its high collar was beautifully tailored, with pearl-like clasps decorating the front. It gave her an elegant, captivating air. The dress glowed like a brilliant sunset, contrasting beautifully with Vivian's snow-white hair. Delicate patterns adorned the hem, and swayed with every graceful step, like a painting brought to life. Vivian lightly pressed a slender finger to her lips. Her eyes sparkled like stars, radiating irresistible allure. Every pose showcased her mature charm, perfectly matched Vivian's seductive, playful personality. But Chloe surprised me most. Instead of her usual deadly black clothes, so different from her usual deadly black outfit, Chloe wore a black and white maid outfit. She stood there awkwardly, a faint blush coloring her face. She looked shy and embarrassed. She kept lowering her gaze, afraid to meet my eyes. Her hands fidgeted with the hem, betraying her nervousness. The outfit stripped away her usual deadly edge, and revealed her sweet, innocent side. "What are you two doing?" After a stunned pause, I laughed helplessly. "Chloe and I dressed up to welcome you home, Master." Vivian sashayed toward me, and rested one hand on my shoulder, wearing a seductive smile. "So you went out and bought clothes?" I asked, pinching Vivian's cheek. "Well, don't I look good?" Vivian blinked her bright eyes, and smiled with irresistible charm. "Master." Chloe lowered her head, clutching her skirt. She cautiously approached. One looked mature, bold, and seductive. The other was nervous, shy, and adorable. I couldn't help smiling. "You look great in that, Chloe," I said, gently patting her head. "Really, Master?" Chloe looked up, her eyes lighting up with hope and delight. The strange outfit felt awkward to Chloe. Silky stockings covered her long legs, making her uncomfortable after years in fitted black clothes. But my praise made her eyes curve into happy crescents. I walked past them and was surprised to find the table covered with food. "Did you make this?" I asked them curiously. "Would you rather eat first, Master, or savor us?" Vivian asked with a seductive smile, her voice smooth and melodic. "Eat," I answered instantly. "You're no fun, Master." Vivian gave me a wounded look, her eyes almost hypnotic. I ignored her and sat at the table. Both women joined me. During dinner, mischief flashed in Vivian's eyes. She was clearly plotting something. Before long, my face stiffened. A small foot suddenly touched my leg. I didn't need to look to know whose it was. I calmly pushed it away, but it silently returned moments later. Her toes gently teased me like a playful cat. I shuddered, finally lost patience, and looked up. Vivian's narrow eyes tilted upward, filled with indescribable allure. They seemed capable of swallowing a person's soul. I said nothing and stared at her blankly. Seeing I was angry, Vivian smiled and withdrew her foot. Her seductive face showed how much she'd enjoyed teasing me. Chloe knew nothing about what was happening under the table. She was still delighted by Master's compliment. Her smile was as radiant as a spring flower. After dinner, Vivian and Chloe spoke to me seriously. "Master, I need to leave for a while." Vivian looked at me. Her eyes held reluctance, but even more resolve. "Master, I need to leave for a while too." Chloe followed. Her voice carried sorrow and resignation. I was surprised they had to leave so soon. Then I realized why. Their last battle must have made the heavenly law suppress them even harder. I couldn't help feeling relieved. Their departure meant the pressure on me would temporarily disappear. I wouldn't have to constantly worry about these two sticks of dynamite suddenly exploding. "Wait for me to come back, Master." Vivian's playful seduction was gone. Her face looked calm, but reluctance lingered in her beautiful eyes. She seemed to have endless words she couldn't bring herself to say. "Wait for me too, Master." Chloe couldn't hide the sorrow on her face. It hung over her like a dark cloud, dimming her once bright eyes. She'd only just returned, yet now she had to leave again. If Master allowed it, Chloe would destroy this world's still-forming heavenly law. But she remembered Ethan's words. "This is my home and it's Chloe's home too." If only Vivian weren't part of this home. Without that home-wrecking fox, Chloe could have Master all to herself. Chloe lowered her black eyes. She wondered if she should use this chance to kill Vivian. Chloe lowered her black eyes. She wondered if she should use this chance to kill Vivian. Vivian was an emperor too, but Chloe was confident she could kill her. Chloe's abyssal black eyes glanced coldly at Vivian. Invisible killing intent swirled inside her. Vivian noticed it, but remained as unconcerned as ever. Vivian had always known that despite their outward peace, Chloe wanted her dead. I'll wait for both of you. As Chloe and Vivian silently threatened each other, my soft words drew their attention back. Don't fight after you leave. This home will always welcome you. I reassured them. My voice was gentle yet firm, giving them strength. They might leave for a while, giving me a brief chance to relax, but they'd return. I was the bond holding them here, a fate that couldn't be severed. That night, neither woman returned to her room. Instead, each claimed half my chest just like before. I didn't refuse. They were leaving soon, after all. I'd allow it this once. The night passed quietly, without any fighting. They savored that final warmth. Before dawn, both women left. They faced each other beneath the dark sky. I really want to kill you. Back in her fitted black outfit, Chloe had lightning churning in her eyes. Her voice was chilling. It sounded like it came from the depths of hell. Humph. If you want to fight, I'll oblige. Vivian smiled without fear. Her smile was defiant and daring. Chloe hesitated, but ultimately didn't attack. My words held her heart like chains. If we're not fighting, I'll be going. Vivian gave her a smug, seductive smile. You mentioned another way before. Tell me now. Chloe suppressed her killing intent and asked. Urgency and desire filled her eyes. I'll tell you when more of us arrive. A mysterious smile curled across Vivian's lips. It was impossible to read. What do you mean? Chloe frowned, confused by Vivian's words. Questions filled her mind. You may understand when you return. It'll be fun. Vivian left it vague and offered no explanation. Her fragrant presence vanished from the sky, leaving Chloe baffled. Watching Vivian disappear, Chloe gave a cold smile. She slipped into the clouds and vanished. Vivian didn't return to the Moonshadow Range. Instead, she raced in another direction. Before long, a young woman appeared in the distance. Vivian might not be as powerful as Chloe, but her senses far surpassed Chloe's. Even from far away, she'd sensed terrifying power gathering here. Vivian guessed it might be connected to Master, so she'd come immediately to confront this unknown presence. It might be connected to Master, so she'd come immediately to confront this unknown presence. The young woman also spotted Vivian from afar. Her face lit up. She appeared before Vivian in an instant. Ma'am. Her voice was clear and gentle as flowing water. When Mia Vaughn entered this world, its heavenly law suppressed her to peak spirit transformation. She'd expected Ethan's world to be full of powerful cultivators. Instead, she found mostly ordinary people. The few cultivators she encountered were weak. But this world was incredibly prosperous, far beyond the war-torn land she'd shared with Ethan. Now Mia had finally found someone, at the same level as her. She immediately approached. You're calling me your elder? Vivian smiled and studied Mia curiously. Mia was graceful, like a black rose blooming at night. Her fitted black dress seemed to blend into the darkness. The dress hugged her body, outlining her slender waist and long legs. A long saber hung at her waist. Though still sheathed, Vivian could sense its terrifying power. She's a lot like that brat Chloe. Vivian immediately began comparing Chloe to the young woman before her. Shouldn't I call you ma'am? Mia looked up and asked. Ethan had taught her to be polite, especially since she'd just arrived in this world. Ha ha ha. Seeing Mia's innocent face, Vivian covered her mouth and laughed. Mia looked confused. She had no idea what the goddess-like woman found so funny. What's your name? Ma'am, I'm Mia Vaughn. Mia seemed even more naive than Chloe. Vivian's mischievous side came alive again. You're not from this world, are you? Vivian smiled. At those words, Mia was startled. How did she know I wasn't from this world? You're right, ma'am. I only just arrived. Mia admitted it without hesitation. Let me guess. You came here looking for someone. Vivian kept teasing Mia with an amused look. This time, Mia couldn't hide her shock. She stared at the alluring woman in disbelief. And that person means more to you than anyone. You're incredible, ma'am. Vivian's guesses had left Mia stunned. She was speechless, but quickly collected herself. Please tell me where he is. Then call me Big Sis. Vivian fought back a laugh as she teased Mia. Mia gave her a strange look, unsure what she was into. The words felt awkward, but Mia wanted to find Ethan quickly. So she respectfully said, Big Sis. Vivian looked delighted to hear it. She boldly reached out to pat Mia's head. Vivian looked delighted to hear it. She boldly reached out to pat Mia's head. But Mia dodged, her expression darkening. Her hand instinctively moved to her saber. Only Ethan could touch her head. Anyone else who tried would die. So your head is off limits. Vivian understood from Mia's reaction. Can you tell me where he is now? Mia asked softly, keeping her hand on the hilt. If this woman kept playing games with her, Mia wouldn't hesitate to draw Whispering Rain. The person you want is that way. Vivian decided she'd teased Mia enough. She casually pointed away from Ethan. Thank you, ma'am. Mia took her hand off Whispering Rain and bowed respectfully. We'll meet again, Vivian said with a faint smile. Mia didn't understand what she meant, but powerful elders always seemed to act mysterious. So she didn't dwell on it. Finding the Ethan she'd missed for so long came first. She became a streak of light and flew where Vivian had pointed. You're even more naive than Chloe. Now I can't wait to see you again. I wonder what it'll be like. Vivian watched Mia disappear into the distance. By the time I woke up, both women were gone. Even the air felt fresher. Without them around, my mood improved. After breakfast, I took the bus to Vanguard University. 7 days passed in a flash. During those 7 days, every night on my way home, I'd see Lily, waiting alone at Reed's barbecue. I quietly asked around. Lily attended a very ordinary college in Havensport, one that wasn't even nationally ranked. Her classes ended much earlier than mine. Every day, she'd wait there for half an hour before leaving. She hadn't sent me another message. Just as she'd promised, I saw her there every day. It was already 9 at night. The barbecue stand was at its busiest. Lily sat quietly in a corner, out of place amid the lively laughter around her. Lily, why keep waiting here every day? Thanks, Mr. Reed, but I'm not hungry. Eat, it'll only go to waste. Then head home. Don't worry your mother. With that, Samuel returned to work. Lily had waited there for days. Samuel's wrinkled face filled with sympathy. Once back in his prime, he'd also waited with hope in his heart. In the end, it had all been for nothing. Lily felt bitter inside. She only wanted the truth, but Ethan kept refusing to see her. His strange avoidance only convinced Lily that her sense of familiarity was tied to Ethan. Sometimes, Lily even slipped into a strange trance. She'd once nestled in a warm embrace. She looked up, trying to see the person's face, but it was always blurred. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't see through the haze. Just then, Lily sensed something. She looked up and saw a familiar figure walking away. Lily jumped up and hurried after him. Ethan, please wait. I really need to talk to you. This time, Lily shouted loudly. People at the barbecue stand turned to look. The familiar figure vanished from sight again. Tears welled in Lily's eyes, but she kept running. At last, she saw him stop around a corner. Lily brightened and started toward him. Then a motion sensor streetlight came on. Lily saw someone standing in front of him, gently pulling him into a hug. Ethan, I missed you so much. Mia gazed tenderly at the young man. Ethan, I searched everywhere for you. Mia's beautiful eyes brimmed with desire. Her soft voice trembled. Mia had crossed countless galaxies just to find Ethan. As if guided by fate, she'd finally found the man she longed for in this world. Time seemed to stop. Deep emotion filled her gaze. She had endless things she wanted to say. Her trembling voice made her sound heartbreakingly vulnerable. But in the end, she said it all by throwing herself into Ethan's arms. She savored the tenderness she'd fought so hard to regain. Ethan froze, feeling the girl tremble in his arms. He finally understood where his unease had come from. Lily watched the couple embrace beneath the streetlight. For some reason, her heart ached. She watched until they disappeared beneath the amber lights. Only then did Lily leave in a daze. Maybe she'd mistaken him. She'd only seen his back. Lily tried to convince herself. Meanwhile, Ethan had just brought Mia home. She eagerly burrowed into his arms again. You're all grown up. Do you still need me to hold you? Get down first. Ethan helplessly looked at Mia, who clung to him like an octopus. She refused to let go. Mia shook her head rapidly and whined. No matter how old I get, I'll always be your little girl. I always want you to hold me. After being apart from Ethan for so long, now that she'd found him again, Mia only wanted to savor his embrace. Looking at Mia in his arms, Ethan's thoughts returned to the dark days of his third life. For both Ethan and Mia, that life had been brutal and bleak. They had only each other and survived side by side. Unlike his first life, the system provided nothing. They never had enough food or warm clothes, nor was it like his second life, when he'd had a good family and a caring master. Ethan's third life was miserable from the start. He'd crawled out from a pile of corpses. Mia was a refugee who had fled from far away. The year they met, Ethan was 11 and Mia was only 7. Together, they weren't even 20. Yet they somehow survived that brutal age of war. Whenever Ethan remembered those days, Deep tenderness filled his eyes. He hadn't cared what happened to himself. Even dying wouldn't have mattered. He wasn't from that world anyway. But Mia was different. Everything she'd endured was only to find shelter in that war-torn world and eat one full meal. Ethan, I missed you so much. I was so scared I'd never find you again. Silly girl, why did you have to find me? Didn't we already struggle to survive that dark age of war? It's not the same. What's different? You weren't there anymore. Tears filled Mia's beautiful eyes. Ethan's heart clenched, and he fell silent. Without Ethan, what reason did Mia have to keep living? To Mia, Ethan was the most important person in her life. He was her reason to live, and the light that led her out of darkness. Without him, Mia would have starved to death that year. Without Ethan, the Mia of today wouldn't exist. From now on, I'll protect you. No one will ever hurt us again. Please don't leave me again, Ethan. Mia stared deeply into Ethan's eyes. Seeing the hope in her eyes, Ethan answered gently, "Okay." Mia snuggled deeper into his arms. She settled comfortably against him and pressed her head to his chest, listening to his steady heartbeat. Her beautiful face showed how greedily she savored Ethan's scent. But as she breathed it in, Mia frowned. "What's wrong?" Noticing Mia's reaction, Ethan asked, "You smell like another woman." Mia looked up, her voice suddenly subdued. "Do I?" Ethan's heart jumped, but his expression remained calm. Why was every heroine so sensitive? "You don't?" Mia's nose twitched. She sniffed Ethan more carefully. This time, she clearly caught another woman's scent. Mia's face instantly darkened. The thought that while she'd been gone, another woman had approached Ethan sent a violent aura surging from her. From the saber at her waist, inky strands of demonic energy began to seep out and coil through the air. Ethan could no longer stay calm and quickly asked, "Mia, don't you trust me anymore?" As Ethan remembered, Mia ranked among the 3 strongest of the 9. She was every bit as terrifying as Chloe, especially with whispering rain at her waist. The peerless demonic saber had been forged from all of Dread Hollow. Once drawn, the gates of hell manifested behind her. Its demonic energy could consume the entire sky in an instant. All life would be devastated.